Welcome back to another episode of the Weekly Element. I'm so excited about this episode, actually, but I am one of your hosts. In fact, I am the most attractive host, the most humble host, and the sparkly host. Anyway, Elemental Dynamics. And to my right,
as always, the bold bantam defender of breakfast. It is I, Sergeant Pancakes, and Mark. It's getting a little crowded in here. Is it just me, or
I think it
is
is.
the space a bit fuller than usual?
It really is. It really is. So actually, we have a little special guest. We have one of the homies joining us today. Go ahead, introduce yourself, little homie.
Part of me wanted to exit and re-enter to have the Stone Cold intro play, but then I remember we were on stages and it's not gonna hit. But what's happening, y'all? It's your boy XO. The homies got me here to talk about good stuff, bro. X world is going crazy.
Hey, so we're excited. This was a intense week when it comes to just all things of nerd cultureism, because there's a lot of movie trailers dropped. A movie drop that we're going to be talking about, and you've read the title. It's Deadpool and Wolverine. We are going to be doing an extensive spoiler review of that movie, because that movie was heat, and I haven't seen anything as good as it since No Way Home. But so we're gonna go in and go through it, because we're gonna try to say it. On top of that, we got some Marvel stuff from the SDC Comic Con. It's gonna be legit. So, weekly banter. All right, cool. So, what is going on, guys? So, what do we got going on? How have things been? What are you guys going on? What are you excited about this week? What are just a real quick? What's happening? Pancake.
So, I think something I'm really excited for, and the hype is getting to uncontrollable levels. As we've discussed this and every other week. My most anticipated movies of the year were Deadpool and Wolverine, and then, of course, Transformers 1. As soon as I saw the first trailer for that, I've been off the rails for that. And with the new trailer that came out recently, my hype is reaching unprecedented levels. Early reviews look extremely promising, and I'm extremely excited for it.
I feel that. That's good stuff. How about you, XO? Anything you got excited that you saw this week that you're excited for coming up?
What are we here to talk about, brother, man? Like, oh, well, you know what? I lied.
Outside of that, like,
just yesterday, I actually just finished watching Kaiju number 8. I didn't even realize that there was an entire anime out for it. I read the manga back when it initially launched, and I thought I thought it was really cool. So I heard the anime was out in its completion, fully dubbed. I binged it in a day, and I have some thoughts, but otherwise, yeah, no. What are we here for, bro? Claws and blades.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So, because
would you say it's worth watching for someone who doesn't even know what that is? Like, you just said kaiju, and I went, oh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, Kaiju number 8. It's an anime based on a manga about a guy that this is a world where kaiju's think Pacific Rim, and instead of fighting them in Jaegers, they're fighting them more like Attack on Titan soldiers with special weapons and stuff. So,
my brother, I'm going to stop you right there. You had me at Pacific Rim.
I mean, I thought so. I felt like that was a good drop for you. Right
yeah, for sure.
You had me at Pacific Rim. That's hilarious.
You'd be into it, I think. My only gripe with it was just the animation quality was coming off of rewatching JJK and Demon Slayer. The animation quality was just not what I would have liked it to be, or like even X-Men 97. I love that we can say that about our American animation now, but it wasn't to that degree. However, it still had the story and it still had the fun, so I'm sticking along with it.
Good. Say less. Yeah,
I'll definitely check it out after this. Yeah, you got me.
I didn't even know that's what it was, so I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even know it existed, so I'm gonna check it out too. Sounds good. I like anything with kaijus. I'm gonna be real with you. Like, freaking that.
Oh, I should say that the main character turns into a kaiju.
That's dope. So basically, it's exactly Attack on Titan, just with difference.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
So I really hope that isn't a spoiler.
and Pacific Rim. It's not really a spoiler because it kind of happens. Like, that's the entire premise of the thing.
Yeah. All
Oh,
right,
but
cool.
it gets
Cool.
good. Don't worry. You got
That's cool. That's cool. Cool. Yeah, I haven't actually been watching too much anime. I did actually finish The Boys this like a week ago, so
fire. So did I.
that
Good
was
stuff.
intense. I was a little bit kind of. We'll get to that in a little bit. It's definitely one of the things I want to touch on. But yeah, that was man. Okay, yeah, that was a thing. The Boys season 4 was a thing. Like it was there. It was all right, but it was there anyway. So, guy, we got all caught up on that. So we're gonna because I want to spend a lot of time on the Marvel stuff. So we're gonna go ahead and go through our list like we always do because you guys love it when we go through our lists. Anyway, so let's talk about
Counting gets me so horny, dude. I just love checking items off a task list.
Okay.
I receive my Tinder dates through the mail like a real man.
Oh wow, male and brides.
Oh man. All right. So
I order them fresh from China.
jeez. All right, guys. Games. All right. So a lot of games have been coming out. A lot of games. I know we've all been playing some games. I gotta say, for me, I've been playing a lot of the new Arc updates with Scorched Earth and a lot of the new things. I'm pretty excited about it.
Nice.
Just keep an eye on the channel for some uploads on that. I got some play footage coming through. Been playing the First Descendant. Also got some stuff coming through on my channel. That game is heat. I have not got a chance to finish it because I've been busy, but I like what I've been doing so far. And honestly, I've been wanting to try to play that Once Human. I've been hearing good things about it. I know it's going to be right up my alley, but it looks good. I'm hoping I'll be able to get to do it too. But yeah, that's what I'm excited about when it comes to games. How about you, Pancake?
So I actually haven't been playing anything necessarily new recently. I've actually been going back and playing some older games. Crusader Kings 3 is something I've been getting really into recently. I also played Knights of the Old Republic 2 last week.
You told me about that.
Yeah, and it got me. I was in a real Star Wars mood after finishing the Acolyte, where I just wanted to cleanse my palate and remind me that I actually like Star Wars. So I went and played something that I know is actually really good. I think the newest thing I've played is actually a little indie game called Songs of Silence.
Songs of Silence?
It's really interesting. So it's got kind of an auto chess, auto battler mechanic for the physical battle mechanics, but there's also a card battler inside of the auto battler. So you have like your armies doing with the different units in the auto battler phase, but then you also have spells and like these god boons that you use your cards to play. It's really interesting. The art style is incredible, and it's a 4X strategy game, but it goes really in.
No way.
What do you do?
All right, go ahead.
Stop the recording.
Say what you did. Go ahead, continue.
So yeah, it's really good. What drew me in from it right from the get-go was the art style. So I've been following it since it like entered early access, and it's really nice. It's a good game. I highly recommend it. It's got a little bit of light roleplay to it, but yeah.
Nice. All right. What you got, X?
Games that I'm playing as of late, really, I tried the First Descendant thing. That was a wave for a little bit, but honestly, I don't like it. It feels like less good Warframe, so I went back to Warframe. There was an event this past week, and I lied. TennoCon just happened this past weekend, so I was back in Warframe grinding it out to use the Barrel Relay ticket. I had to cop as many Prime mods as I possibly could because he comes once a year with everything that he ever had. And aside from that, I want to say I did tap back into Marvel Rivals. I'm gonna like go hard on that. They dropped Thor. He is a tank, and I love it. Feels like playing Hulk, but with a hammer. It's great.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Oh,
Speaking of,
I was gonna say there's one more game that they dropped something on, I think early this week or maybe last week. Either way it goes, it's No Man's Sky. A new No Man's Sky update looks absolutely
I
amazing.
love No Man's
It
Sky.
looks absolutely
I haven't played the
amazing.
world update, but it looks huge.
And they haven't updated it yet, but it looks the way that some of the it's just oh man, it looks like it's gonna be a fun time at the movies. I ain't gonna hold you. Like it's I'm pretty excited about it. I was watching it just like thinking, oh my god, this is gonna be the best thing ever. And because now I have this new screen, I have this new 4K 42. Man, I'm so excited about it. But yeah, what you got? Is that you were gonna say something else? Sorry, Pancake. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I just thought when the established illustrious EXO was talking about less good Warframe, did you guys see the reveal for Soul Frame's combat?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Oh, I did. And
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a
man.
little sad about it. But like, let's be very clear. This is super early alpha like footage, and you got to be clear. Like, even before this, it looked, if you can believe it, it actually looked even more stilted and janky before. So you can tell that they're definitely working on the animations. I think this has come a long way considering where it's been, and they're building this up from the ground up. And I would like to get into the preludes so I can actually see what it feels like. We can't actually see any footage because they're under NDA right now. So all we can see is what they've shown us. And if what they shown us look like that, you can only imagine how janky it probably looks for actual players. So let's give it some time to cook.
I
And
feel
like
that.
the thing is, it is the developers of Warframe, so you expect it will be
Warframe
good. Like,
took
I have
time
no
to
doubt
get to
about
where it
that.
is. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Yeah,
like
for
it's
sure.
just it's gonna take some time probably.
Warframe was like No
I would
Man's
like to
just
Sky
think
in
they're
that
gonna take what
aspect.
they've learned from Warframe and implement it as early as possible to get
Right.
it on a good foot sooner. But yeah,
I just don't know why they chose to show that. Like, they kind of thought that looked good. Like, why show it at this point if it looks like that?
keep in
you
mind
know?
it's not a Souls like. It's really just an action combat game, but it looks so slow and kind of
Yeah, it looks stilted. It
unimpactful.
looks really
It looks
clunky.
stilted. Yeah, it wasn't. I don't know. I would have preferred if they weighted it personally.
Yeah,
just
for
to
sure. Same.
have it look a little bit more polished. I know what they're capable of, so I'm gonna play regardless. But just because the general conversation ended up being about it looking or not good rather than unfinished.
But yeah, just because something doesn't look good right now doesn't mean it won't be good. It's just it's too early to judge for sure. It was a bit of a disappointing reveal. I think that's my case.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right, cool. So moving on to the next. So we got some movies coming out that I'm pretty excited about. I went and saw Deadpool Wolverine. They played some good trailers there, and so they definitely played a new version of Captain America, Brave New World. So I'm excited about that. We're definitely gonna touch on that in the main topic part. Gladiator 2 looks absolutely amazing. I'm for sure gonna watch that. It's heat looks like, but Denzel Washington in Ancient Rome. He did do that Shakespeare movie, so I can see it now, I guess. But yeah, it's a lot of good ones coming up. I know there's a new kind of Hellboy coming out too, live action. That's like not like Hollywood live action.
It's the second.
I don't know what
it's the second Hellboy reboot, and they've got a new guy who I haven't even heard of.
I haven't either. Like I
He's
watched the
called-
trailer. Like, okay, this looks. Is this a indie? Is this what is this?
All right. So I have so many. All right. It only just clicked in my head which one you guys were talking about. I did see it initially. All right. My guy John Campia really did put me on, and I want to say this. It looks like it's shot by students. It looks like a student film.
Right, exactly.
In its presentation. However, the atmosphere and the actual tone of the film feels very akin to what you would expect from a Mike Mignola Hellboy.
Yeah, for sure.
Really.
So have you guys read the Hellboy comics?
It actually looks a lot closer to the comics. That's what I was gonna say.
And the actual creator is a writer, and I want to say he's directly on board as a producer as well. So he has his hand directly in it. My thing is, Hellboy has now had 2 franchises, and it has been on a decline ever since the first one. So I think this was a case of y'all are gonna get a hair thin budget to do whatever it is that you want to do, you're not going to get much money because we have not been making much money back on these films, especially considering the reboot that they did just like 2-3 years ago. And I think they just did the best with what they had. And I'm not gonna lie, it looks cheap. However, something still tells me there's something about the movie itself. It's probably gonna be good, bro.
And here's the thing: when it comes to movies in general and things like that, I honestly think if you're a good director, a good writer, a good creator, if you really know what you're doing, you'll be able to make something good on a shoestring budget for sure. Because I feel like I was just about to say Deadpool #1. And there's a bunch of others where like, okay, this was not a big Hollywood production, but
budget is all right. I think we're like mixing it up because he still had Hollywood level CGI. These guys. I don't know. They look like they have some CGI, but let's be real. I don't think they had a budget for it. I think that's why their makeup and practical effects look so off.
Well, that's what I mean, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like even though that's going to be the case, if they really are passionate, they got some good people behind the wheel, I feel like they can still make something legit. You know what I mean? Because the reason why I brought up Deadpool is because, like,
janky though.
Yeah, because even the first Deadpool movie, it was like, it was good. They still had some Hollywood heat, but it was like they just had shut up money they were using to make the money, and they had to really, and all of that budget basically went into the highway fight. Like that was like a large chunk of their budget went into that, but because they didn't have a big budget to do all this crazy stuff, like subsequent movies, they were able to create something so awesome that was just so good that it's like, yep, now the next movies can make more money. But yeah, so that's cool. So I am looking forward to it. Transformers 1, of course, they showed that new trailer. Last time.
It's limitations breed creativity.
Exactly.
And if you're limited by your budget, you're more 100%. Careful about how you use that budget.
Right. Because if you're not just flying it around everywhere and being like, yeah, I got the money, so let me just do this. And it's like, well, should you know? That's why I like directors like Michael Bay that like they use the expenses of like CGI, things like that, and as a story piece as opposed to like making it part. You know what I mean? Like they use it only if they can't do it practically. Like if there's nothing they can do practically with it, then they'll use it,
I feel like we're going to start getting a reputation for being Michael Bay apologists, but it's so fitting to mention at this point, because Michael Bay is one of those directors where you feel like the projects he's attached to, they make the absolute most of the resources they have, and by the absolute most, it's they make the most amount of explosions they can afford.
100%. With
like everything left in the budget blows up.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, moving forward. So like, Transformers 1 was good. I saw they showed a new trailer that I hadn't seen yet in the movie theater when I went and saw Deadpool. And it was pretty legit. I'm trying to think what else they showed during Deadpool that I was like pretty excited about. Can't think of it right now, but yeah, there's a lot coming out, and
legit is underselling it. I'm hearing this is probably going to be the best Transformers film that we've had put to screen, and considering that it is animation, yeah, I buy that.
Oh, I'm hyped with that. I'm actually kind of excited that it's animated. I'm gonna be real with you, because don't get me wrong, I've been liking the live actions. They're pretty. I like the hell out. They're exciting, but at the same time, it's like, I think I'm kind of. Yeah, let's go ahead and do something good with it. And I think this is cool. Chris Hemsworth as Optimus Prime. I mean, Chris. Yeah, right. It's like I wonder how that's gonna be. I feel like he's got the voice and he's gonna do it. In this trailer that they showed in at the Deadpool showing, toward the end of it, he was like, it's like Chris Hemsworth's voice turned into the Optimus voice. Like, oh,
he's like working it up, and you can hear him do the like. It's kind of sick. I love it.
Yeah.
And then Megatron, Brian Tyree Henry.
Oh yeah,
that's
for
fucking,
sure.
That is some inspired casting right there. I would have ever thought, but man, he sells it. I buy that shit.
What's really interesting about this movie is the turnaround, because I remember when we were just starting to get drip feed news of this movie, the first thing we heard was, okay, this movie is going to be set on Cybertron
Animated.
before the war. And then they were like, okay, and it's going to be animated. And it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen before. An animation style unlike anything else. And I remember everyone was like, yeah, there's no way. They're going to copy Spider-Verse or it's going to be bland 3D. That's what it's going to be. And people were saying, just use the Bumblebee intro, just do that. And then more casting announcements. We had Scarlett Johansson and Chris Hemsworth attached. And people were like, why are you doing this? Why don't you just cast voice actors? Why don't you just cast the people who actually do their job voice acting? Which I still stand by. But then when the movie trailer actually comes out, and it just looks so good. And I am not afraid to eat my words. I can just say with this absolute certainty, I'm happy to be wrong. I'm very happy to be wrong.
I will say this though, because I understand where you're coming, and I understand where the people are coming from with the voice and all that stuff too. However, Transformers is one of those franchises that it's such a big just thing, whether across all platforms, that there's always been multiple people voice actors for all the characters. Like the main Optimus Prime, he hasn't been the main Optimus Prime voice in all of the Transformer iteration, you know what I mean? But what I think is, I like the fact that it's just a fresh take. It's new. It's a different story. It's that. But also, too, my only thing was, I was scared that it was going to be, it's a cartoony kid kind of, it's going to be like, oh, hey, bubbly. But no, actually, the trailer that they just dropped, I'm like, okay, so no, we're actually going to get some feels. We're going to get some, like, this isn't just a kid's show, a kid's cartoon, but I'm pretty excited about it nonetheless.
Not to undermine your point, but out of all of the Transformers properties, like every version of the series since G1, Optimus has not, Peter Cullen has not played Optimus in exactly 4 versions that are not Japanese.
True, but I'm saying like
he was Optimus in G1. He was Optimus in every game. He was Optimus in the Aligned continuity because he is Optimus.
Right, 100%. And that's just like saying how like oh my God, why did I just draw a blank on his name? Kevin Conroy is Batman. You know what I mean? Like, Kevin Conroy has been Batman for years, animated wise, but there's been a bunch of other actors and a bunch of other things that have portrayed
it's
Batman.
It's not really the same.
You know what I mean?
But that's the point, right? Because there hasn't really been a lot of other actors that play Optimus. Peter Cullen is Optimus in the movies. He's Optimus in the games. He's Optimus in the animated series. The only version of Optimus that exists that's not voiced by Peter Cullen is the Armada continuity. And that's 3 series. That's all there is. So in the Michael Bay movies, in the Bumblebee movies, in Rise of the Beasts, in everything Peter Cullen has, it's like, it's not that there's a Christian Bale, there's a Michael Keaton, there's a Ben Affleck, there's a Kevin Conroy, there's Roger Craig Smith, there's all these different people who play Batman.
There's only one Batman.
There's Peter Cullen.
It's Kevin Conroy.
Right.
There's Peter Cullen, and then there's the other people who played Optimus sometimes. It's not really it's not a case of preference. It's a case of purely objectively, it's only been Peter Cullen. So getting someone else on the big screen or attached to a huge property like this,
usually you'll
exactly.
Here and there a random voice actor, but generally speaking, like, this is his.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's regardless of who does it. I agree. Yeah, regardless of the voice, we get like. My point I was making in regards is that, like, yeah, regardless of what anybody says, regardless who voices anything, it's like, for Batman, Kevin Conroy is the voice of Batman, as far as I'm concerned, no matter what. You know what I mean? And then Peter Cullen's the voice of Optimus, no matter what. I just think it's really cool. Like, I think if anybody, Chris Hemsworth is going to pull it off. Like, if anybody can pull it off, I think he will.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, 100%.
Also,
I'm down for him to try other people.
Yeah. But
how they're framing the movie being a comedy buddy cop adventure, that fits Chris Hemsworth very well. I feel like he is an extremely underrated comedic actor.
I think that's how they framed it in the first trailer, but now this last trailer that I just saw,
yeah, this trailer didn't give me. I never saw the first trailer.
This one actually had like, oh no, like, so they for sure are gonna be
they're like brothers.
Fighting. Yeah, it's like
they just seem to hit a path where ideologically they
we're gonna see
turn
the
loose,
rise
you know what I
and
mean?
fall in this movie, according to this last trailer, which was pretty cool.
I mean, they seem to grow up as brothers and become able to transform together and then go on to do things. And then it seems like there's a rift between them that
Mm-hmm.
creates what we know as
Oh yeah, for
Thanos
sure.
and Megatron.
Either way it goes,
Have you guys
I'm
read
pretty
the
excited about
IDW
it.
comics?
So no, I have not. I haven't read any of the comics when in regards to Transformers.
So there's this comic continuity, the IDW continuity, and I think it was for something like 10 years they had the Transformers license exclusively. So what they did is they told a singular storyline, right through, and the inception of their universe was actually the fall of Megatron, and it rocks. If anyone listening is into comics, right, read that storyline because it is probably the best Transformers. It's like one of the best Transformers media ever made, and it's definitely the best Transformers comic ever made.
For
I-
sure.
High
highly
praise. The only thing I've
recommend
ever read from IDW is Godzilla. I think they also have like Power Rangers and stuff. They seem to have a lot of the toy companies' licenses.
They do.
IDW's Transformers, TMNT are like my favorite versions of those universes,
also
and
do
as we've
yeah.
discussed,
Ronan
I'm a
is fire.
massive TMNT, I'm a massive Transformers fan, and IDW did my favorite versions of those universes.
think they're
I
making a
cannot
Ronan movie
recommend
or
them
a
enough.
game.
They're making a game, yeah,
Yeah,
which is also the IDW continuity.
exactly. It's a great story.
Yeah. So actually, moving on to TV, we're gonna wrap it. So you've all watched The Boys, right? You guys are all
Yes,
finished
sir.
the season. Okay, cool. So I just finished it. I will say this: The Boys for me has been on a steady decline since season 1.
You know AC on, right?
And say what? Yeah, so The Boys for me has been on a steady decline since season 1. And season 4, it was good, it was entertaining, but at the same time, it was very okay. I'm here for it. But it was also very, I think, because the reason why I feel that about season 4 is because I spent most of season 4 with my jaw on the ground. And the WTF going off in my brain because this was a wild season. We have
Oh yeah, for sure.
like this was a wild season. There was things happening in this, like with the dude like centipeding himself in the sauna. Just it. Oh my god, bro, it was crazy. But I liked it though overall. Like, yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to the next season to kind of finish it all up. But I'm gonna be real. This one was more shock and awe than actual like entertainment for me. Does that make sense?
So my thing with season 4 of The Boys, and let me put it to you this way: I feel like season 4 of The Boys was like a filler arc in an anime. Right? It feels like you can watch the first episode and the last episode, and that's it. That's all you need from it. It feels like everything that happened in the middle does not. It feels like the kind of TV movie they bring out for My Hero Academia that kind of attaches in the end, and it feels like a lot of significant stuff happens. But when you really think about it, nothing of note happens
character
except
development,
for
but not plot moving.
Right, exactly. Which was kind of like, I mean, honestly, the only thing
like it's
that
not
was
bad. It was just like we would have liked to have seen the plot move forward. I'm not gonna act like the plot didn't move forward. We are, I guess now technically Homelander is in charge and shit. So pardon me. But I just
you
I don't know. It feels like there was something else that we should have gotten, or maybe it was
I feel that.
feel like
I can't
if
even
you
say it was
cut half
unfocused.
of
It was
season
just very
3,
concise, man. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there was as much going on, considering all the past seasons.
Yeah, for sure. I also feel like we got like, I don't know. I just feel like the abrupt end of certain characters just kind of didn't make sense, really, or it kind of maybe just was like, I mean, could that have been? I mean, more? Like
which
for
one,
example,
though?
like me personally, I just feel like the Victoria Newman stuff was just so abrupt. It was just like, wait.
I hated that they killed her. Honestly,
I was like,
same.
why? I was like, what was
so
the?
bad.
I was like, what's the point of it? I was like, wait, what?
No.
I mean, it's like no, and then it's just. And I don't know, man. It was just, there was so much going on that my brain could have just wrapped around it. I'm just, okay, well, you know, I guess you could say the only thing that's been consistent from season 1, episode 1 to the last episode of season 4, only thing that's been consistent and that I like is Homelander arc. Like from start to finish. and Butcher, yeah, Butcher and Homelander from start to finish. They're the only ones that I've
It's
really
just about them this entire show.
legitimately like. Everybody else is just kind of like, okay, we got some exposition for them, but like honestly,
and the Deep has also been consistent in how he's characterized.
I hate
like
that
the
shit
Deep.
so bad.
I will agree with you.
Yes,
I will agree with you on that because the Deep was.
I think he was a breakout role, and people hate to love him or love to hate him.
Exactly,
it's that
because
stands out.
He's such a weasel,
such a creepy loser. I hate him.
Yeah, but like in a good way. Like it's
it's very entertaining.
Yeah, like okay, like what is he
Chase
gonna do
Crawford
next?
Doing amazing.
Oh,
in this
for
role,
sure.
Because he actually makes me like cringe at the very sight of him, bro.
Yeah, like it's like.
Can
okay,
we also just talk for a moment about like how we got Tilda Swinton voicing a CGI octopus? Like, what world are we living in?
I
could not place the voice.
I didn't know that until I looked it up
after watching a recap, and I was like, "Oh, that was Tilda." You know what? She could, yeah. I might just fall in love with that octopus too. She sounded magical.
Oh yeah, Tilda Swinton's got a very unique talent to disappear into and like be unrecognizable in any role. Now
it's
apparently
crazy
through voice
that they
as well.
rebooted James Bond from the Roger Moore era in The Boys just for like a few episodes.
Ooh. Wait, what? What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean they revived one of the most famous James Bond movies for The Boys just for like a few episodes. Octopussy.
Oh my gosh!
I fucking hate that dude.
Oh man, I can't believe we legit walked into it. We definitely
I stayed quiet. I wasn't even gonna. Nope, I wasn't gonna give it to him.
Anyway, yeah, no, but either way it goes, the show was. I mean, Noir was actually. I don't know how I feel about the way
I loved him.
I don't know
loved
how
him.
I love
It's
hating.
funny that they felt the need to even replace him in the 7.
Right, and it's just like, but the way it's just. That's what I don't know. It was I don't know. It was funny, but at the same time, it's like that's not New York. But I'm like, I guess that's why it's good because he's like, I can't even fly, man. He's like, oh, murder boner. I was laughing my butt off when I see that.
Even funnier, the actor who plays Noir has narcolepsy, so that plot point
that was something I saw.
Actually, because the actor himself has narcolepsy, and they like wrote that into the plot.
Oh yeah,
that's hilarious.
Yeah, he actually was falling asleep on set a bunch of times. Like if he wasn't actually doing anything, they were like, oh yeah, he would just fall asleep, and then like they'd have to wake him up. So they did that. Like that was crazy. When they were fighting, he just falls asleep. I'm like, what? But yeah.
Also, something I really appreciated from season 4, and I think, in my opinion, for me specifically, the best and most consistent story from this last from season 4 was A-Train's arc. That was the thing that kept me watching, even though the rest felt like filler.
I feel like I should have expected it, but it didn't surprise me.
It didn't surprise me, but it hit me in a way where I'm a very.
Go ahead.
I'm a staunch believer and a big fan of classic heroism, and seeing A-Train like save MM and then seeing that kid appreciate him.
Yes,
just watching his arc going from him realizing his self-worth and wanting to be a hero for the sake of being a hero, not for publicity. That hit me in a way that I didn't expect it to, and I appreciated it.
I'm gonna tell you what, like, so we talked about this a couple weeks back before that episode, and I remember you were saying that you thought A-Train's arc was good. Honestly, since that episode and since that it started to make sense. No, yeah, I think A-Train actually has pretty good arc, because when you really think about A-Train just from beginning to end, like he was in the first season, he was a really like douchey dude, and he was like very all about like the light, but it's like I see where his arc started to really take, where it's like, okay, no, like he genuinely is like being fed up with just how things do, and I think it was started when he called Homelander a bitch or something, and then Homelander's like, what did you say? And he was like, oh, you know what I mean? So I think that was when it kind of, for me, looking back on it, yeah. So seeing an actual superhero do an actual superhero thing in The Boys was oddly refreshing.
Weird.
It was oddly refreshing. I can't explain how. It's just like, I know The Boys is what it is, but like it's like, oh, he genuinely, like, when that kid smiled at me, he kind of like had that look and he zoomed off. I'm like, I kind of felt the same way he did, in a sense. And I was like, oh, yeah, she did a hero thing. He was like, oh, he's actually a hero. You know what I mean? It's like, oh. And then, yeah.
I've always had the argument that, unlike the comic version, the TV show adaptation of The Boys isn't mean-spirited. It's not trying to hate on superheroes and superhero culture. It's just trying to explore them in a very cynical universe. And seeing this concept of classical heroism represented in a way that we can all aspire to and enjoy, that was just, I really liked it, because it confirmed my constant saying of the show isn't trying to hate on all superheroes and all superhero media and all superhero culture. Right. It's just trying to deconstruct the genre.
Yeah. So yeah, Boys is good. Looking forward to like the final season. Yeah, so before we move on to the main topic, I'm going to go ahead, Pancake, our resident Star Wars expert, go ahead real quick and give us your thoughts. Give us like a little mini burst review, like maybe like 5 minutes or so of Acolyte, because we're going to be doing the next episode is going to be a full-on Star Wars Acolyte episode 2, but I want to hear your thoughts on it right now. You're the Star Wars expert, so let's go ahead and get into it real quick.
So I think for the sake of brevity, and to give an account of my experience with this show, I'll simply give you my number rating, and that is a 1 out of 10. And the Acolyte did something that I didn't think was possible, which is create something in Star Wars that I actively don't like that isn't the Rise of Skywalker. In the entirety of Star Wars, from the extended universe to the Disney canon, there's only 2 things I don't like, and that's the Acolyte and Rise of Skywalker. The Acolyte died the way it lived. Unbelievably stupid. It's a 1 out of 10. The only good part was the CGI.
No, not even that. Bro, let's put it this way.
No, the CGI, like deadass, the CGI was good. The CGI looked good.
The Acolyte made the sequel trilogy look like Citizen Kane.
I mean, maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe they were trying to make people like the sequel trilogy by showing them, hey, it can get worse.
Okay, we have to let them know that, look, Star Wars, it's the sequel trilogy. We don't like the hate. We need to take minds off it. You know what? I'm gonna put dog turd on screen, and they're like,
I mean, that's actually kind of genius. Now that I didn't think about it that way, but that's actually brilliant. They're like, hey, you thought Book of Boba Fett? You thought the Vespa chase was bad? You thought Rey Skywalker was bad? No, brother. Let me show you what bad Star Wars looks like. I'll teach you. I'll learn you real good.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was
bad.
Man. I don't, for some reason, the show tries so hard to be incredibly progressive, and like, as you know, I'm extremely woke. I'm always the guy saying, hey, no, this is good. I like the changes. I don't mind that they changed this character. I'm all for it. And like, the Acolyte is one of the first series I've ever watched where I went, what are they doing? Because for some reason, it just comes across even more racist.
It really did. It's like, put it this way, and I want to say this, we're going to get into detail about this in the next episode for sure. But for me, it's like, look, here's what I think. There's no secret. They've interviews, all that stuff, like legitimately the whole point of the Acolyte, the creators, the director, everybody, their purpose for making this show was to take women in the world of Star Wars and make them awesome, make them this and independent, powerful, make a great day. I'm like, cool, let's do it. They did the exact opposite. They didn't even do that. They created characters that I was like, I don't care, women, if they were dudes, if they were whatever. They created characters that did not deliver. They created characters that were dry. They created characters that were. Oh, I take it back. The only one that actually was I can't remember her name because I don't remember anybody's name. But the X-23 character, she was good.
Daphne Keane.
They should have kept her alive, and they should have did more. And that, like, Give me her TV show because I will invest that. She was the only one out of the whole cast that actually even. How you gonna get Carrie Ann Moss and fumble the ball?
I think
Like,
I also
Carrie Ann
liked
Moss.
Brother Squid Game right until the
No, I
finale.
didn't. He was a whiny. I'm just gonna say he was a whiny bitch the whole time. That guy is
Yeah,
not
but like
a Jedi
Anakin
master.
was a whiny bitch in Attack of the Clones as well.
No,
And like I
no.
kind of I liked him. I didn't hate him. It just I hated everything about the show. I want to forget it exists.
Yeah,
I don't
so-
drink, but the show makes me wish I was an
Yeah.
alcoholic.
Yeah, so we're definitely gonna get into that more detail in the next episode
That
for
was
sure.
hilarious.
So why is that? What's your take on it, X? Oh man, yeah, no, that was crazy. But yeah, we'll definitely get into that. But so now we're at the meat and potatoes. We're at the 40-minute mark, so this is where we're just gonna go over. So before getting into that, Pancake, you have a
Yes,
question
sir.
for us.
Okay, so as we well know,
Yeah. Go ahead.
as we well know, Deadpool and Wolverine is a romp through the Marvel multiverse. And the Marvel Cinematic Universe has so many rich and diverse locations. So if you could visit or vacation for free any location in the Marvel multiverse, where would you go?
What you got, X? Okay.
I did not realize I was muted. My bad. I have zero interest in being in the Marvel multiverse. Are you kidding me? At any point in time, that shit it is always collapsing. All right, the incursions. There's always something going down. At some point, I'm gonna die, and I ain't even gonna have the choice to fight for my life, bro. I'm just gonna die.
It's a valid answer.
How high do you think car insurance premiums are in the
that's
Marvel universe?
Bro, you know how much I pay
valid.
for car insurance now in the real world? Could you imagine what real estate, life insurance, and car insurance is like in New York of the MCU or any Marvel continuity? Oh my goodness gracious.
Oh,
There
yeah.
Do you
has
think
to be an
insurance has, like,
entire
Hulk
separate
clauses?
superhero tax. Nah, bro, there's an entire
Oh my
superhero
God.
insurance. Yeah, bro, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
I don't
that
want to
was
visit
funny.
Comertage.
Unless
from
I'm
the
a
MCU.
superhero and I can also be rich in said Marvel universe, I do not want to visit it. I'm sorry.
I feel that. I was gonna say like I my answer was kind of similar to that, but like it was more of like, okay, I want to be in any part of the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse where there's a facility that if I drink something, I become powerful, like one of the like super soldier programs or something like that, where it's just like easy access to get like superpowers. That would be
So you
what I
get
would
the
want to do.
spiked Mountain Dew from the Incredible Hulk that Stan Lee drinks.
Oh, you know what? How about this? Like if ever I decided, you know what, I'm ready to die. I'm gonna go to the MCU and I'm gonna just try to do some random stuff in space and see if I get cosmic powers. I either die trying or I actually get them. Either
You know
way,
what?
I get what I want.
I will say that. Like, actually, I didn't even think about that. Like, I would love to be on the Guardians of the Galaxy, be a part of their team, even if it's just as the mascot. To be honest with you, because the stuff they get into, I'm sure inevitably I'd run into something that gives me a power.
I
mean, Rocket
man,
just kind
I'd
of
be-
has guns, right? So you can just borrow one of
for
his,
sure.
and then you'll be
I
on the same
would-
level.
I'd be
They fight Celestials though, bro. Like at that point, we're literally fighting some form of gods. And now, do I really want to do this? Do I though?
I guess because it's like,
Bro, I
there
had
is-
food poisoning
I
this
gotta
week.
go
I
pull
was
up
fighting
against
God
Galactus,
too.
bro. Come on, man. Why?
What about you, Pancake? What's your answer to your own question?
Comertage, baby. The
Yeah.
MCU set up that anyone
Okay.
can be a wizard as long as you're there. So I would
Okay.
just go there and be a wizard.
You know what? Yeah, that makes sense.
That's valid.
That
The
is
thing,
valid.
I
I
would have
mean,
to be
yes,
an
I will
Earth-level
get
superhero.
murdered by literally everyone who goes to Comertage seeking some form of revenge or tax exemption. But you know what? It'd be worth it. Like,
Oh, for
who
sure.
wants to live in that universe
No,
anyway?
I take it back.
And then I'd live with magic powers. I mean, come on. What's there to
I
lose?
wanna
Assuming
go-
that you actually make it through their training.
I would go into wherever the in the MCU multiverse that had the spider that bit Spider-Man. And
So
You want to find the
Sony.
spider again?
I will, and I want to beat him to it so that I can be the one to get bit by it.
You know, Mark, my
If we're
mother
choosing time
was
as well.
researching spiders in the Amazon when I was a baby.
Okay.
Nobody watched
And,
that shit, man.
No one's gonna get that reference.
No,
Exo's
I
the
get
only
it.
other person on the planet.
I get it. I'm just choosing not to acknowledge it because screw
Trash.
that movie. Like, screw everything about that movie. Screw Sony in general, and screw all their stuff coming out that I'm not even going to mention because it's not worth it. But anyway,
The best part about Madam
I'd
Web
be
is
on
that
the shit
they
that
canonically
the Fantastic Four was
they
on.
canonically made it that Spider-Man's costume is cultural appropriation from some random Amazons.
yeah,
Nutty.
that's dumb. Anyway, moving on. So, main topic time, y'all. We're good. And so, before we hop into Deadpool Wolverine, because there's a lot we're going to talk about that, let us briefly go over SDC. Now, I'm just going to start with this. RDJ as Doctor Doom. I don't know how I feel about that.
I hate it. I hate it so much. I despise it. I can't stand that they've done this.
I'm
I'm
like,
so upset.
and it's, I don't know. What about you, X? What's your take on it?
I don't care. I just want to see what they do with it.
See, me, I'm one of those things where, okay, so I am not angry about it, and I'm not mad about it. I'm just like, huh. Like, because when you watch the video of like just everybody losing their crap over his, I'm like, RDJ as Doctor Doom, is he gonna be like a Tony Stark variant that became Doctor Doom? Is he gonna be Victor Von Doom? I mean, and
It's
this
likely
is
gonna be that. That's the only way it makes sense. So I'm thinking it's gonna be like a kind of like Iron Lad / what's his face situation. Like how Kang has his other variants or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
So you may just have some version of Tony that is Latvarian for whatever reason and is playing the role of Doom.
And see, now here's
okay, so have you guys read the comic where Iron Man canonically becomes Doctor Doom? It's a what if story. I think it's one of the oldest what if stories, and it's back from the time before Tony Stark canonically had a sense of humor. And it's a really good story. I actually really like the way they did it, and it's always been a character that I thought would be great to explore on screen. But you know what else would be a really great character to explore on screen? The actual Doctor Doom. Like, can we get a comic accurate Doctor Doom, please? Because that's like one of the greatest comic book characters of all time. And we're not. Why are we just ignoring that? It just feels so cynical.
The Doctor Dooms
we've
gotten have not been good.
It just
I don't
feels
know
like
why,
they went.
but I feel like it's not. This isn't even like the main one. If I'm not mistaken, Doomsday comes before Secret War, right?
It does, yes.
So from my I am anticipating that this is just going to be a one-off version of Doom, but the Fantastic Four is in fact going to have their own Doom,
like the real Doom.
Considering they're coming from another multiverse in another time period, or whatever the case is that they're trying to spin here.
Is that what they're doing? Because I wasn't clear on that.
Yeah, so they're from like the '60s era in another multiverse. They're not in our current continuity. That's the way that this played. So it's there. If there is a Doom and it's gonna be for them, I think it would probably come from their universe anyway. So like the one that we may be interacting with in Secret Wars, or sorry, I should say Doomsday and into Secret Wars. I have to think that they're not committing this to be the main Doom.
Right, because I doubt RDJ is going to do another, extended contract again.
I'm genuinely surprised that they actually sat here. Well, no, the thing is, all right, here's the real tea, bro. Let's get down to brass tacks, man.
Yeah.
The Russo brothers, as well as Robert Downey Jr., outside of the MCU since their departure, have not been incredibly successful in making all kinds of money or anything like that. So quite frankly, I think this is one of those things where, listen, anybody who understands the movie industry and has been following this Marvel stuff would know that Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. were bound to come back. They're going to come back. They have to. These were the crux of the fucking MCU. They are essentially the anchor beings of the MCU as it stands. So
I love how we got
without
new
them,
terminology.
look
to
at
use.
how the shit has been. The MCU has been low key falling apart. It's just it's not what it used to be without our main boys here. So it was really inevitable, and it really just came down to them seeing that, listen, we can't afford to be giving y'all this kind of money no more. So yeah, you can leave. We had your contracts up and whatever. That's cool. You're gonna have to come back and renegotiate if we do this again anyway. So that being said, them going out back into Hollywood, Robert Downey Jr. with Doolittle, and I want to say there was some other flop that he put out. The Judge.
Oppenheimer was in there.
Okay, no. Hold up, that was not a flop, but that was also not just him.
Right.
Yeah, fair enough.
Doolittle was
anything
way
that Robert
before...
Downey Jr. did on his own.
Oh, yeah, true.
No, that was after Endgame. So anything that he done post Endgame and
not.
up to now. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was.
No.
If it wasn't Endgame, then it was at least Infinity War, bro.
I know RDJ did
was
say
after
that
Infinity War,
he took a bit of a like a break where like he kind of like his workload became a lot smaller.
No, Exo's right. Doolittle was 2020. Endgame was 2019.
He had a few. He's had some flops as far as movies go, and as far as a star goes. So the thing is, he could not. I don't think him having to come back to renegotiate for his contract anyway, if it is a long-term contract, I think he does not have necessarily the kind of buying power that he would have had before. He knows that he really he makes that kind of money because of this role, and it's a perfect union. Don't make it nasty by going, and asking extra money. You know, we have other people here. So, outside of the MCU, you're not going to make that kind of bread anyways, right? So you might as well just stay here, be reasonable about what you're asking for, and rock out because you love it here. Everybody loves you here. You're making money here. You ain't making money elsewhere. And the same thing goes for the Russo brothers, bro. Listen, they were actually initially Kevin Feige initially was asked about bringing the Russo brothers back before the announcement, and he was like, "Oh well, we're looking forward to doing other things." And you know what the reality of it is, bro? The Russo brothers outside of the MCU, anything that they have put out has not been incredibly successful. They had to join with Chris Hemsworth on Netflix,
except for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Hold on,
No. They just have a name credit as producers. They ain't have shit to do with the movie, bro.
They did the one with
nothing to do with
Chadwick Boseman. The 22
that was
Bridges.
Was
flop. It? Okay.
Flop. All them Netflix, straight to Netflix movies, Chris Hemsworth, I forget what it's
Extraction.
called. Extraction. Yeah. All the stuff that the Russo brothers have put out outside of the MCU has low-key been a flop. And they know it. People around them have recognized it. So they went back. They knew this is where they shine, bro. So let's just make it all work. Marvel, stop being stupid. We don't need you to go experiment with some nonsense, and then we end up getting a bull Avengers movie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everything that the Russo brothers has touched, from Winter Soldier to the two Avengers movie, has been golden. They understand that at the very least. Yeah. So if we know it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I think that's what it came back to. So us seeing these announcements, and to be fair, I've known about that. There's been rumors about the Doomsday thing or Robert Downey being. Matter of fact, I've heard about all this stuff at least last week, so it doesn't really surprise me. And to see it actually confirmed, the sources are fire. I just think this was inevitable, bro. This is not even surprising. I think this is necessary for the health of the MCU long term, bro. I think Deadpool was like that perfect shot of adrenaline to get us up, but like now this is the long term carry that we need to really like heal and revitalize the MCU.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I think you're right. I think very cynically, like this is very clearly a let's get the franchise back on track.
Not even as Cap.
That's funny. Yeah, we're gonna get into that in detail because that took me out. I was like, what?
It was great.
It was amazing.
This is one of the things I'm talking about. Like outside of the MCU, like y'all could leave, but like let's be real, bro. Everybody's happy here. Why leave, bro?
Right.
This is
and
great.
Here's the thing, and this is to your point about the RDJ, and I think. You said Pancake was saying it. All I care about is, come on, Marvel, go back to form.
We just want greatness. That's all.
Go back to where you were. Go back to 2008, man. Come on, just bring us back.
That's all we want.
Get us back there. I don't care how you do it, what you do it, and it's a comic book world. You know what I mean? Like, and that's why I was like, I wasn't angry or upset about RDJ being Doctor, because yes, it's a comic book world. Comic book stuff happens all the time. It's like and then fighting adamantium.
Do all kinds of weird stuff.
And then we got they're fighting adamantium in the
I know what exactly.
Which
I
is
think
like-
that's what they're
Yeah.
trying to go for, but we have not had that confirmed. Also, there is some speculation.
No, it's been
No, it was
confirmed.
confirmed. It was confirmed at
Comic-Con.
Comic-Con. That's what they were saying.
Word?
Yeah.
And the clip
Love
and the
it!
footage
Love
they
it.
showed. Okay, couple things. So we're just gonna rapid fire through the. Let's see. There's no but one of the things that was super fun. I was like, finally, we are addressing the big elephant in the room.
It's
We're
standing
finally
outside of the Indian, like
They're
it's into the stratosphere,
so
bro.
they make it. They're calling it Celestial Island or something or whatever they're calling it. They turned it into an island, but he says it and he's like, yeah, and they talk. He literally says they found a new element. It's called adamantium. So it's like, okay,
yeah.
Amazing.
So
Yeah.
it's like, okay,
people
cool.
were speculating this for a while. This is
yeah.
good.
And then they were like, apparently they showed. There's a video. Okay, I posted it. But everybody, go check
I mean,
out
technically,
New
you can see it
Rockstar.
in the trailer of Captain America's.
Yeah,
whatever,
but you don't.
and can see
You don't really
right
know what
below,
it
yeah.
is until like this is where they confirmed what it is. Now I saw it, but I didn't know that's what it was. But him saying the words, I guess in the trailer that they saw in the clips was like, okay. But I watched the videos on New Rockstar. If you guys never heard of them, go check out New Rockstar. They have they had a pretty good extensive recap of it. But yeah, like I'm just like, okay. They fought because every time I watch a Marvel movie that since the Celestial or the Eternals, I'm like, what about Tiamat? No one's ever acknowledged the fact that
nobody
there
has
is a giant
dressed
head
the
coming out of the
hand and
planet
head
Earth.
coming out of the
Like,
planet
it's like
it looks like a pimple from space. Come on,
Like how is no one addresses it? And now they are, and I'm like, okay, that's I
I
don't know
think-
why that
I
makes
think
me so
just
excited, but
that-
it does. It just does. I
That
don't know
is
why
a
that makes me excited.
symptom of the current state of the MCU, right? Because something like that would have been something like Iron Man. Iron Man's daily events used to be massive news in the MCU. Now a whole ass god coming out of the ocean isn't even mentioned anywhere, and that's
Yeah.
just a symptom of the purposelessness, the
Yeah.
directionlessness that the MCU has been facing. Like there have been good movies in the MCU,
and
Shit.
that was at the hands of Iger. I don't like
100%.
We now can see that they are course correcting because it was it was problems at the top. Leadership was just trying to do nonsense. That's really what that was. They
Yep.
were literally directionless because they had their direction was Disney Plus and content for Disney Plus. That was the direction.
Yeah.
And that's all they were doing
And
for the last 5 or so
thank
years. It was
God,
nonsense.
it sucked.
Exactly. I
Because
mean, not,
if they
bro.
made money with that shit, we would have never gotten a good
no.
MCU project
No.
ever again.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Like it's just nice to see too. Just to so I know, like I remember watching was it interview or the last time Kevin Feige was on stage. Either way it goes, Kevin Feige a year or two ago said we are going to go back to form and we're going to start doing. We only want to do maybe 2 to 3 movies a year, and then like slow pacing. And I was like, okay. And now we're seeing it.
Exactly.
Deadpool Wolverine took a minute, and it's like okay, yeah. Now it's like good. They took their time. They're doing it. They got rid of all the like.
And you know what that means, right? That means they're actually planning and charting out where this is supposed to go. Now it's not about a number or quantity of content to fill out your stupid streaming service. No, it's not about that. Now we're going back to basics, and we're here for plot. All right, where is the story going? How do we get there? That's what's important. And I love that.
I feel like Kevin Feige is like behind the scenes. I could just see this. Like I think it's Kevin Feige being like, you know what? This has been my baby from like way before 2008. He's been working on it, and they like Bob Iger, Disney. They came in and tried it, and they kind of now it's like, you know what? No, I'm taking control again, and he did, and now we're getting the fact that they let Ryan Reynolds do what he did with Deadpool, and from what I understand, like they legitimately gave Ryan Reynolds like almost like creative, like whatever the word is. Like they were like, yeah, just do you. Here's what we're trying to accomplish, but do you within it as well. I'm like, that's from what I saw.
Creative freedom with the mandate of no cocaine, no drugs. That's it. No hard drugs. And this was really just what happened is just that when Iger was in charge, he created an entire new directory system that essentially bypassed and took all power away from Kevin Feige. So he did not have say or decision regardless.
Right.
It's not even like him being able to do anything. It's just this is beyond you. You're an employee, bro. So now him being put back into creative control of Marvel it's necessary.
He's
Yeah.
the real Marvel Jesus.
He's actually Marvel
So-
Jesus. That's
He's
that's the funny
actually
part.
Marvel
He's
Jesus.
actually Marvel Jesus.
Oh man, I see you wrote.
Man, when
my
we lose
biggest-
Feige, bro, I hope it's to a good franchise that actually needs him or something. Because at some point, you gotta know, like he's gonna leave.
I don't
He's been
think
doing
so.
this since '99, bro.
I don't
He's been
think
doing this
so.
since Blade and X-Men. At some point, they tried to get him over for Star Wars, Loki. That just flopped because Star Wars is a burning fucking dumpster fire. But aside from that, I think at some point he will have done everything that he wanted to do in the MCU.
True.
And as a
feel like,
creative
though,
individual with the kind of power and the regard that he has, he's going to take his talents elsewhere. Somebody else is going to be able to buy him.
I feel like he's gonna be the George Lucas of the MCU. Except I feel like Kevin Feige is gonna be smarter than George Lucas, and when he does step down, his successor is gonna be a lot better than Kathleen Kennedy, like a Kathleen Kennedy.
That's
person.
exactly the thing. So
Like, you know what I mean?
it's really coming down to him training a proper apprentice to take this role on. You know,
Like, honestly,
look at what happened with fucking Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
Jesus.
What?
So
Feige
don't
needs to
call
do-
Kevin Feige the George Lucas of Marvel. Don't insult Kevin like that. That's
Well,
not.
to be fair,
no,
like
that's
there
not
was
what
a
I'm
point
like-
where George Lucas was like actually revered. It's just
Yeah.
you know there were steps
but
taken
never
to have ruined
he never
his
really
reputation.
deserved it.
Okay,
like
let's put it
George
this way.
Lucas
He
isn't the
created
reason
Star Wars. I mean,
Wars-
I'm not even a fan boy like that, but did he not create the
He
content?
did. Like,
he at least did
legitimately,
the
like,
original
his-
fucking trilogy.
He did.
Like we can't
He
say
No,
did
no, no, no,
create
no, no, no,
everything.
Big
because of the
misconception. Big misconception. He didn't create the entire. He didn't even make Empire Strikes Back. Like he wasn't the director for that movie. Like he
Right.
created the universe. Sure,
But it's his IP.
brainchild.
I mean, obviously,
But-
yeah. This is like saying
but, like,
it's the equivalent
everything-
of saying. Go ahead.
So the thing is, saying that George Lucas is the reason that the Star Wars trilogy is what it is like saying Avi Arad is the reason that the Spider-Man trilogy is what it is. It's correct, objectively, but also the worst parts of Star Wars are because of George Lucas.
Right.
And the best parts of Star Wars aren't necessarily
But that's
because of
subjective.
George Lucas.
And that's
No,
also because
objectively.
it
Pause.
grew
Objectively.
beyond.
Because he did not. He
Pause.
did not
Okay,
make
literally,
the
it
stuff
is.
that people.
This is story content, and at the end of the day, as it was his brainchild. And again, I'm as a person who is so far removed from Star Wars, I don't care. I have no stake in this. But as a person who has created the IP itself, how can you really tell him where it shouldn't have gone? Yes, you may have like an opinion, you may feel some type of worry about the decision that he made, but ultimately the writer is the writer and he created it. So
Right.
granted, what I'm saying in addition to that is the universe grew beyond him because obviously you bring in other people to expand on the story. There will be, other parts of the story that you didn't account for. So there's where continuity issues come from. And from my understanding, there's like 4 different levels of continuity for goddamn Star Wars as a whole. And top level is like whatever the hell George Lucas himself wrote. Like that's like
that's
main
only for the
continuity.
extended universe. That's only for the extended
Yeah.
universe. It doesn't really work like that anymore. All of Star Wars that Disney makes is canon. But also, if it wasn't for Irvin Kershner, who made Empire Strikes Back, and does not get the credit he deserves for making Star Wars darker and wanting to bring in the plot points of Darth Vader. Darth Vader, the coolest thing in Star Wars, right?
Time out. Okay. Woo! Okay, that went off the rails real fast. Okay. Should probably warn you, Exo. Star Wars is a trigger. All right. All right. Okay. Pancakes, I know what you save it. We got a whole episode devoted. This is Marvel. But to clarify, though, when I made that comparison, I was just more in the sense of how George Lucas sold the rights, and then the person who took over but like I'm saying, so that's what I was referencing in that. But although
I was just joking initially.
No, but yeah, like that's it. So you're right, but that's what I mean. So back to the topic is yes, Kevin Feige is gonna leave at some point, like Exo was saying. However, I feel like he is not going to leave until he for sure knows that it's in some good hands. But yeah, now see you wrote Devil Born Again and Agatha on there. I'm not looking forward to Agatha because it's definitely going to be a disappointment. And I was not interested in Agatha to begin with.
On that.
I was not.
Why would you think that? The
I
only good thing that Disney Plus ever put out was WandaVision. This is literally continuing that. How could you think that about this property?
I didn't
Hawkeye
really. I didn't really care.
Marvel.
I
didn't like WandaVision.
No, I like WandaVision. I just didn't.
All right, then you would like this.
I'm not like super. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to watch it. I'm just saying like, I don't know enough about. I'm just like, Agatha, whatever. She wasn't. It is what it is. So we'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm sure I probably will change my mind if it ends up being good, but as right now, I'm not super hyped for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's more of a like, hey, that's coming out. I'm gonna watch it because it's Marvel, but I'm either excited or not excited. It's just okay, cool. Got something about a Marvel character.
So, when we cut back to
what?
When we cut back to the conversation at hand here, right?
Okay.
With so I think the thing with Agatha is that it's not a character we're excited about. When it was Loki, we were excited. When it was WandaVision, we were excited. When it was Falcon and the Winter Soldier, we were excited. When it was Echo, no one cared. No one watched.
That's literally how I feel about Agatha. Same thing. It's like, Echo, I'm gonna watch it, but it was like, I wasn't chomping at the bit for it.
I mean, exactly. I get that. I don't care about Agatha, but again, this is because this is continuing from WandaVision. Again, this was literally the best thing that fucking Disney Plus put out, period. So, I mean, off of that alone, that prestige alone, this being a continuation of that, why, like, I don't need to, it's not even about the character, it's about the story that I'm potentially getting.
I thought it was going to be a prequel to the, how Agatha became Agatha, or so it's going to be
she's direct, stuck, she gets pulled out of the hex that Scarlet Witch left her in, and from my understanding, she's powerless because she took her powers. So like now this is an adventure or a story about her trying to regain her powers. There has been speculation that we may see them bring back or interact with Scarlet Witch to some extent, something about the Witch's Road and where she goes to get her powers or whatever the case is. Listen, I loved WandaVision, best thing Disney Plus put out. I'm sold on this off that alone. I don't care about Agatha. Why would anybody who's a general audience member care? No, it's not about that. It's just like this. So
you're more just like, okay, I'm excited to see like if it's what's okay. I see what you're saying.
This is the closest I'm getting to season 2 of WandaVision.
Yeah, so, I got you. I see what you're saying now. Okay, yeah, because like for me too, like it's like, is that the villain? Is she not? Because I mean, in all the different continuities, not continuity, like
she's always a villain. She was a villain in WandaVision.
But she was the other one. She was, but like it's like her. I don't know. I feel like I don't know. It's like because I've seen in the comics she's been a villain, but she's also been good. And then even in Midnight Suns, she was like she wasn't really the villain there. She was just kind of like, I don't know. It's just I'm excited. It's Marvel. I'm gonna watch it. It is what it is. Deadpool Born Again. I'm super excited about that. Like I can't. Everyone's back.
I think that's probably like the only show that I'm genuinely
out of my mind excited. Oh yeah, because from what Kevin Feige said about
Scarlet WandaVision
and from what Kevin Feige said about it, and the fact that it's going to be 24 episodes long, it's going to be a
24 episodes though.
That's what he said. Yeah, it's going to be a full season. But like, I mean,
oh no, they better be an hour long because if y'all doing 24 episodes and y'all think y'all about to skate off with 30-minute, no, I'm gonna be pissed. Pissed. No, that's 12 episodes.
Yeah, it's. I think it's gonna be good. I feel like
Disney Plus does not do over hour. They always do 30-minute episodes, bro. If they don't figure out this shit to make it an hour long episode for those 22 episodes, bro, I'm gonna be actually livid.
Yeah.
So my thing with Daredevil Born Again is it single-handedly restored my faith in the MCU. And the reason it did that is because they announced that they're gonna fix it. Kevin Feige said he doesn't like the direction it's going in. Exactly.
Because he has control again. This is us seeing the actual changes happening before our eyes. Yes.
And this is fix all that. What this tells me is that there is direction again.
Yeah,
there is
100%.
purpose again. They are aiming for something, and what they were doing with it was
goal.
They have a goal. Exactly, man.
Gives me a goal boner.
Oh, for sure. Okay, so now when in regards to the SD Comic-Con stuff and the Comic-Con and all that stuff, final thoughts overall, what do you think? What do we
Wait, are we still on that?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We're getting ready to move on to D&W right now.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
But final thoughts on that. I'm excited. It looks good. It's in Secret Wars. I'm pretty excited about that because there's 2 Secret Wars that they're pulling from, and there's a lot going on.
No, it's only gonna be one.
Yeah, but I'm saying like there's 2 Secret Wars in the comics. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm curious to see what they're doing because like how Civil War and stuff like. It's always fun.
Yeah.
Like, how much are they going to pull from the original? How much are they going to pull from the new? How much is going to be? It's just, you know what I mean? That's what I mean.
Oh, you think they're going to combine them?
No, I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, like, I know because there's like the 80s Secret War and then like the 2000s Secret War.
2 different kinds of Secret Wars. That's what I'm saying. That's
right.
Like, you can't do both because it makes no sense.
It really doesn't. Like, but that's what I mean. Because, like, it's like the way they did Civil War, for example, it's like, okay, like, it's just, I don't know. I'm excited about it. It's what I'm saying. I feel like Secret Wars, if done right, I think Secret Wars is going to be what I was saying to him about Deadpool Wolverine. I feel like Secret Wars in the MCU is going to be like Flashpoint. I feel like Secret Wars is going to be
a reset.
I think that's what I feel like. I feel like it's going to be like either a soft reset or like I don't know. It's going to be, I'm excited for it.
Well, it would have to be the plan anyways. At this point, Secret Wars is meant to come out next year, or the year after
26,
Secret Wars after Doomsday, so 26.
Oh, 27.
So
no, 27. Doomsday's 26.
Word? Okay, so 27. That would have almost been damn near 20 years of MCU.
Yeah.
So at that point, we could probably do with a minor reboot. I mean, some of our actors are actually aging out of their roles.
Right.
So the characters are gone. Yeah, so it makes sense. And we had been speculating that for a while anyway, just because of what Secret Wars technically is. At least if we're going to go the reboot route, it would have to be the second Secret War of 2015, where you're combining all the different worlds of shit. And that's where we go from there.
Right.
The first one, I don't know. I guess you could. It was really a weak version for us to do in the movie. Imagine them just randomly introducing the Beyonder, and now we actually have all our superheroes just actually duking it out on a planet. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that they would go for that one. I think we're going to go for the second one, and it's going to be for reboot purposes.
Okay.
So I think the way they could blend it is they could have Doctor Doom stealing the power of the Beyonder, and then having the characters from different universes duking it out, having different variants duking it out on a not necessarily a planet, but maybe like a pocket dimension or something like that. I can see, what would actually be
then at that point you're just doing it just to involve the Beyonder and just to take his powers
that's
away
basically
and give it to Doom. Why even do it?
Well, that's what they did with Infinity War. It's got the only thing it shares with its comic counterpart is the name and Thanos being in it. So there is precedent for them doing it in the MCU. And I actually just realized, it would actually be heat if they introduce the symbiote suit in Secret Wars.
That's what I'm saying. They did.
That would actually be dope.
That's why I was saying,
if it's for the purpose of actually, are we doing this to introduce the symbiote? Because that would actually be sick.
Yeah,
I'm into that.
Or
they actually have the opportunity to do the comic book origin of Spider-Man.
Does Marvel finally get the rights back for Spider-Man? That would be awesome. Secret Wars.
Oh, I just forgot. They don't even. Yeah, you're right. No, so that's not going to be the case.
That would be good. It's fun to.
We did just get Deadpool and Wolverine.
Let's put it this way.
No. But
I have a theory.
To the extent that if they actually got or were about to get the rights to Spider-Man, I would speculate that, and that's immediately.
I have a theory.
Obvious. What else would you do?
I have a theory. So far, I have not seen anything of any other Spider-Man projects coming out anytime soon. All that stuff. And then I have a feeling that Craven is going to go the way of Madam Chick that they tried to do. And then I believe, and since this is going to be the last Venom thing, I think that I feel like we're getting closer and closer to Spider-Man coming home. That's just my.
delusional.
I don't care.
Bro,
I'm gonna
listen,
speak it.
Spider-Man is still making all their money regardless. All right, it doesn't matter what the spin-offs make because they're not the main characters anyways. Do you see how much the Spider-Verse movies are making and how much the actual proper Spider-Man movies are making? At the end of the day, they're gonna keep their character because that's what's making them money.
I don't know, because the last Spider-Verse movie was kind of, it was lackluster at
It's
best.
kind of what? Look at the black. I don't care how you feel about it personally. How much money did it make?
Yeah, true. But cool. So yeah, so Marvel's got some good things coming out.
I think I was talking.
You said you had some final thoughts, Pancakes?
Well, let me just say, and I think I speak for everyone here when I say, Agatha, I barely know her.
I hate you. Anyway, we're moving on. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so Deadpool and Wolverine, we have finally made it to this epic pivotal time in Marvel, in movie history, just in general. So, real quick, before we get into the conversation, initial reactions, each person, 1 sentence or less, go. Pancake?
So, Deadpool the First is one of my favorite movies of all time. I did not love Deadpool 2. I thought it was kind of mid. Deadpool 3 is also on my list of favorite movies of all time. That's all I'll say for now.
Okay. EXO?
It was absolutely fucking astonishing.
All right. For me, it was game changing. Let's put it this way. You guys both know my Spider-Man, how much I love that character, and you understand it. We've had this conversation in our first episode of the podcast about it. This movie has replaced Spider-Man as my number one movie on all my lists. That's how
that
good it
is
was.
Incredibly high praise. That is nutty.
Like, No Way Home was number one, and Deadpool and Wolverine is now number one, and it has replaced it. It has dethroned and that's coming from me. I'm probably about as much of a Spider-Man fanatic as you are Star Wars.
Well, I think I'm a bigger Spider-Man fanatic than I am a Star Wars fanatic. But
what I'm saying, yeah. So that's that. So
yeah.
Overall, we're all excited about the movie. Now, let it fly. Let's talk about it. First thing that comes to mind.
So before we get into it too deeply, there is one thing I want to bring up.
What's up?
And it has to do with one of the cameos in the movie.
Yeah?
So I have never in my life experienced this sensation. This movie brought something, it awakened something in my soul that I did not know was possible. And it is an immense and immeasurable relief that a movie was not made. And I cannot even explain how much pleasure and joy it gives me that Channing Tatum never got to be Gambit, because thank God I know now why that movie never got happening. I'm very happy he didn't get it.
Loved it.
It's so funny that he says that because I exactly know what you mean. Hey, listen, that accent was something out of this world. All right, I don't really know.
Played up for the Deadpool movie. That was for comic. That was purposely, I believe. There's no way that's how it would have been.
He deserved to have his timeline Thanos snapped just for that accent.
Channing Tatum is not that good of an actor. Let's be very honest.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone ever said that.
For him to sit here and carry an entire franchise and then be doing that accent at the same time, yeah, you may be able to do the athletics and all that other stuff, but I think he does better as a supporting character. It would be hard to see him do that
for sure
the entire time.
I've actually seen him in some things where, like, it was like, okay, like the biggest thing that I know I saw him in was that one he did with Steve Carell, where he was the wrestler. That one was intense. He really put his foot in the acting on that one. However, like in regards to the Gambit cameo, like first of all, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. The fact that was actually when Gambit came out, that was actually one of the loudest applauds like one of the second loudest applause when
Really?
that happened. Oh yeah, in the theater I was in when he
Oh yeah,
walked
no,
out,
they geeked at my theater
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
but
no,
it
for
was
sure.
one of those things where
Everybody
like
was happy.
as soon as he started talking, as soon as they started doing it, like it was 100%. I'm like, oh yeah, they definitely were playing this up as like it was just so Deadpool can banter with him the way he did. However, I truly do believe this, and I could just be fantasizing, I could be whatever, but I believe if they actually genuinely gave him the movie and did it, and like he genuinely was able to like real, I don't believe that's the Gambit we would have got. I feel like we would have got like a version that was respectable. That's my opinion about it. But in regards to him in this movie, I thought it was great. I was like, yeah. And then it was like,
It worked
in
for
my
me.
theater where I was
it
watching.
really worked. Oh, you actually saw it in theater?
Yeah.
So, admittedly, I live in South Africa, as you well know, and we might not be the most cultured and informed civilization. So, in my theater where I was watching, there was exactly 2 reactions to Gambit on screen. There was one guy who went, "That's Gambit," and another guy who went, "Who?" And that was it. There was no clapping. There was no cheering. Like, it was one guy going, "That's Gambit," and another guy going, "Who?" And it was just... I think that kind of summarizes the general appearance of the character in the movie.
Well, yeah, I can understand that being the case because, bro, since we're talking about that scene specifically, like when Elektra popped out, I was like, oh snap, but I was not excited because I was like, eh. In fact, of the Fox Marvel movies, Elektra was by far my least favorite. In fact, Jennifer Garner as Elektra was by far the worst casting choice decision I think pre-Marvel MCU had ever made. I was like, Jennifer Garner, no. Like, no. The girl that got as Elektra in the Netflix series, I'm more on board with that. But when she bought that, I was like, oh, that's cool because I was cheering because my mind was like, oh, the next person walking in is Daredevil. And nope, it wasn't. But the next person that walked in gave me a boner. I'm not going to hold you. Seeing Blade in the MCU was, Wesley Snipes' Blade was legit. Legit.
Fun fact, this is the first time I've seen Wesley Snipes' Blade.
Amazing. Are you
Bro.
what?
I have not
What?
seen any of the Blade movies. This was my first time seeing him as the character.
Yeah, you
What
need
the
to
actual fuck?
fix that because that is blasphemous. Like we don't have
I know Blade from the
Blade
comics. I know
walk
Blade from
so that
Spider-Man
MCU
the
can
animated
run.
series.
I will
And I know
die on
Blade
that
from
hill.
Marvel's Midnight Suns.
I will-
That's
Holy
my...
I will die on that hill that all of what we have, X-Men, Spider-Man, Marvel MCU, everything we got, I feel like if we didn't get Blade, none of that would have happened. Just my
Oh,
opinion.
for sure. There's no doubt. I think the thing is,
That was
where I
shocking
grew up,
to hear.
I'm just
first
saying,
of all,
like, that's just me.
I was a child when that movie came out.
So was
and I know I kind of have to watch it to like
Oh, you
fill
do,
up the pop culture blank space in my head. But it's like I don't really care about that character. It's just like I don't really. It's not a character that really appeals to me. So despite the fact that I know it's this, and I know it's a really great movie, and I know I'll probably like it, but it's like. I never find myself in the mood like, oh, I'm gonna watch Blade, you know?
And you also want to know another reason why Blade is pivotal because without Blade, Wesley Snipes' Blade franchise, we would not have Ryan Reynolds' Deadpool. Because
All I'm saying is if Blade did not fumble in Spider-Man the Animated Series, we would never have gotten Morbius, and I will never forgive him for that.
Wow.
oh, wow. But here's why I say that because because Ryan Reynolds played Hannibal King in the third Blade movie, Blade Trinity, and on that movie, someone was like, "Hey, you know who Deadpool is?" And they were like, Ryan didn't know at the time, and they gave him a bunch of Deadpool comments and said, if they ever make a live action, you should play him. And then that's the move. That's where Ryan Reynolds got introduced to Deadpool and where he fell in love with the character, and that's where it all started. Like the seeds were planted that day, and we have the Wesley Snipes Blade movies to thank for this current movie that we're talking about. I'm just gonna say it like that. I will die on that hill. But yes, the Blade cameo was legit. That was the first biggest like people were standing like on their seats when he walked out. That was great. And then that joke he was like, "There's only ever gonna be one Blade," and then Deadpool looks at the camera like,
I felt like that was shade at the fact that there's been so much trouble for Blade to get started.
"Oh, for sure,
Yeah, like-
for sure." There was a lot, but it was great. Seeing them walk in, it was good. Not seeing, and then they say, "Oh yeah, Daredevil died because he tried to whatever." It's like, yeah, but that was cool. I was a bit so. Now too, I will get into the opening sequence. The credits, that whole scene I was literally out. Me and multiple, the theater was singing "Bye Bye Bye" the entire time. It was awesome. People were dancing in their seats. It was amazing, and it was like here, whatever you guys were thinking, whatever fears, whatever concerns you had about whether or not this is gonna be the Deadpool you know and love and the Disney and the Disney umbrella was wiped away in that scene. Like, oh no, we're giving you it. Like, it was amazing. The only thing I was like, how is he breaking off the adamantium bones? That was my only thing.
I think it's because he's not breaking off the bones, so bones naturally have like cartilage and stuff between them, and that
So
the
he's just popping
adamantium
them
wouldn't
out.
have fused to that.
Gotcha.
No, that would have
sense.
decayed already. It was basically just like a skeleton lying in a pile,
Gotcha. He was just
barely held together by skin. Yeah.
Well, I mean, he was actually throwing the skeleton around and jostling it before he started taking it apart. So that theory would be, if that was accurate, and when he moved the bones in general, he wouldn't be able to been.
Well, no,
up.
all right. So
I mean, you did see
it's
like
not
the skin
it's
on
been
the
there
bone,
for a while,
right?
So like there are connective tissues, tendons, and whatnot.
Either way it goes, it was good. It was nice, and then how it was like all
It was
the,
incredible.
Like, all the cast members and the things was written on it. It was just like he was just like, yeah, oh, the dance, oh, it was so good. TVA was getting, yeah. He's like, I'm not gonna use my weapons.
I think the thing is, right, I love the first Deadpool opening, and I think it's a perfect opening to a movie, and I think this tops it. I
100%.
I think this is even better.
This whole scene was like, we're here, we are still the same, and we have Disney money, so this is what you're gonna get.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
It was, yeah. I mean, then like he made the bone claws. He made the claws within the like midst of the fight. He was like, "This is," and he just doom, and then yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was a good start to. It was like it set the tone for the rest of the movie, which was amazing. So yeah, what are you guys most excited about with this movie? Like, what is it? Okay, let's like, what stands out? What is it? What do you just talk?
So there was one line in the movie that really got me, and it really hit me, I think, in a personal place where it spoke to me, right? And it was when Paradox, the villain of this particular venture, said, "No, you drooling boob," and I want to watch that on repeat because it was just so goofy and perfect. Like hearing a British movie villain go, "No, you drooling boob," it just worked. And it encapsulates what makes this movie special, which is they just wanted to have fun and they did that.
Right.
It feels like this whole movie was just them trying to be like, let's make a really great entertaining movie. That was my take.
It was also like a real like, hey, Fox was a thing. It was like literally just tying up all the knots and all the loose ends and all the like. It was like putting it to rest in the best way possible. Like, this is what happened, and that was the whole theme of the cameos too, where they were like, it was like just getting our ending. You know, that's what they were talking about. I was like, yeah, no, for sure, this is a good. Yeah, let's get their ending. And it's like, but on top of it being fun and a joke, and they really gave us a legit story. Like they legit gave us something to yeah, it's quality.
And it was really heartfelt as well. They really did do their best to try and make the movie as impactful as possible given the subject matter, and I think it really hit. Wolverine and Deadpool's arcs about significance. They really also. It wasn't just mindless popcorn movie. It wasn't a Michael Bay movie. There was a lot of substance and a lot of heart in it.
Oh, for sure. What about you guys? What do you got?
Action. The action was
Yes, it
amazing.
was. Yes, it was.
The
Oh yeah.
stills, the art direction when the bro busting out of the back of that bus with that freeze frame with the masks on,
Oh
claws
man,
out.
that
Oh my
was
god, the way
awesome.
I fucking orgasmed, it was
It was
Jesus.
amazing. It was amazing.
After seeing a long stretch single take fight scene down a road between these two, it was hilarious. Oh my god, bro, the action was fantastic. Their
was.
first fight scene, the opening dance montage, the 3D effects, bro. Oh god, I don't even really have the words to express how this movie made me feel. Beyond that, the characters, honestly,
The
seeing
development was legit.
seeing Hugh on screen again in this role, full yellow suit, bro, and even with the mask on, hearing him fucking rip Deadpool apart to initiate that second fight in the car with an entirely serious, and I mean vicious tone, after Deadpool has just been so annoying, the exact mouthy merc that you expect him to be. Seeing these two characterized on screen the way they were, it was without hyperbole a dream come true. I fuck. And then the little shout out to what comic accurate Wolverine would look like on screen was just great to me. I'd love to see
the
what
John
Henry
Byrne
Cavill would
look.
do. Yeah, I would love. No, bro, okay. First of all, I'm mad that they called that the first appearance where he fights the Hulk, and I'm like, no, that's definitely
No,
not,
that's
'cause
not
he was
it. It
wearing the
was
classic Tiger Stripe one.
with
That's
that
bullshit.
was
But
yellow
I
and
love
blue.
seeing exactly, but I love seeing, bro, them teasing Wolverine and the Hulk fighting like that, even with the little comic cover of the reflection of the Hulk in his claws. Listen, I was mad because I'm like, bro, all I needed was just like two to like give me like 6 frames of that fight, bro. That's
Just
it. Like, why would you just
two
tease me like
punches.
that?
Just them even
Oh
just jumping at
fuck!
each other would have
I
been good.
just, oh my god, just fuck, just to see him on
Just
screen,
seeing
so
all the
I can
versions of Wolverine,
all
though.
I need is to see them both
smushed.
on screen as they are now, so I can get a screen capture. It would be my fucking wallpaper. Oh my god!
Just
Listen,
all the
this
versions of
movie,
Wolverine in that montage
bro,
alone.
fucking Patch, fucking Apocalypse. It was, oh Jesus, man, I loved everything about this movie.
I was surprised when they did when he went into the out that comic cover where it was like he was on the X, and like that was crazy. When he walked in, he was just like, "Yeah, I'm gonna back out of this one."
Yeah,
Like,
no, not this one. That was a wicked comic cover for them to. Yeah,
like that's. I mean, that was. I
shit.
mean, they
Apparently that's where he first meets Jubilee, and that's who releases him from his bonds. And I'm just like, oh my god, this shit was crazy to see.
It
They
definitely.
even painted the back of the cross yellow so that it looked exactly like the comic cover when viewed from the side.
Okay,
This movie.
All right,
was
let's
a
talk about
love
that real
letter
quick.
to the fans and those
Oh,
who
for
have
sure.
been around for the Fox movies and know about X-Men as a whole. It was so good.
But not only that, like let's touch on that what you just said, Pancake, because yes, that was something that I noticed very much a lot in this movie is that they made it a point to give us not only like very comic accurate stuff, but to give us very comic accurate aesthetics on certain things that were like meant to be. Like that scene for specifically is like, oh yeah, like they took their time to set that up to look exactly like the comic cover. You know what I mean? They took their time with that, and they did a lot of that throughout the movie, and that I appreciate that level of like, okay, and just yeah. The bright, vibrant colors, everything. And then I'm going to tell you what, I was like, I by the time it got to the end with the street fight with the Deadpool core, I had basically kind of just come to terms with the fact that we're probably not getting the mask. I just at that point just forgot about the mask, and I just at that point forgot that it was even.
Bro, I hadn't even really been thinking about it at that point.
Had
I was
it,
like,
and then when he was walking,
whatever,
and he puts his hands behind
and
his
then
back,
he
and it comes
pulls
up,
the cowl up, and I lose my mind.
And then Deadpool's reaction to it was my reaction
chills.
to it. I was like, it was like, and then and the fact that it was the Madonna song, that was even better. Who knew Madonna was going to be the most epic song to have to the first,
God.
finally getting the cowling of Wolverine into a Madonna song was going to be this epic. And it was just, and in the way okay, let's talk about Hugh Jackman as Wolverine in this version and also too. He went full tilt when it came to being Wolverine in this version. Full tilt.
It was beautiful.
Full tilt. When
He hadn't missed a step. It was like he had, like it was
You're
like day one all
90.
over. He looked till you're 90.
Until you're 90. The way he whispered it in his ear. Until you're 90.
I love it. And
Bro,
I'm like, listen, if there was somebody who needs just a touch of immortality, bro, it don't even need to be immortality to just get this man 20 more years and
It'd be
just
Hugh Jackman,
like a little
for
bit of
sure.
melanin in his skin
Oh, yeah.
to protect him from the skin cancer, bro.
Yeah.
And he is golden,
Oh, yeah.
right? Oh my god,
Bro, the way they did, and then they animated his eyes like how they did Deadpool's mask, which was so cool. It was like, and it didn't even, it was just, oh man, full-fledged. I would have loved to see the cowl full suit though with the shoulder things and everything, but
I wanted
I'm
the shoulder
happy.
pads so bad. I'm mad that they came off.
Yeah.
I would have been okay. Like I feel like they could have left the shoulder pads on and still had the sleeves ripped, because if you look at certain scenes, you see there's like the little metal rivets or like look like mat or something where like the pads were connected to. I feel like they could have still had it, and they would have had this. But either way it goes,
I've
yeah.
never been a fan of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
Hey,
right?
so it's been a long,
So
good run, Pat.
controversial opinion.
It's been a
How
good
is
run.
he in this podcast?
It's been a good
That
run.
has
Pancakes.
hold on.
I am
You
sorry.
don't like Hugh.
I'm sorry, Pancakes.
What?
It's been a good run. But I think the Weekly Element is going to move in a different direction.
So
was
here's the thing, right?
crazy.
When I was 11 years old, X-Men Origins of Wolverine came out, and I thought that was the coolest shit ever, and I loved Wolverine, right?
Why?
But
You
when I
just
got
really
into the
hate
comic
this
side of
thing,
it,
don't you? You
no,
hate being on this podcast.
just hold. Back then, that was the coolest shit I ever seen, right?
Okay.
As a kid, I thought that was really cool. And then I got into comics, and I got into what the character actually is. And then watching it through the lens, after watching things like X-Men Evolution,
Yeah.
after reading the actual books, after seeing Wolverine and the X-Men even is a great series.
Yeah.
I just... when I saw Wolverine on screen as Hugh Jackman, and Logan, as you know, is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not that I don't like that character. It's just I don't like. I never really saw that as my Wolverine. But watching this movie, right? Watching Deadpool Wolverine, I was like, you know, the Danny DeVito meme, where he goes, "I get it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I get it now." Right? That was me. That was me. Seeing Hugh Jackman in this movie, I was like, okay, yeah, no, y'all were right. I was never a fan of that casting.
Well,
I didn't see it. I'm a believer. I got turned. I'm with it now.
Here's the
for
thing.
sure.
I have the opposite of it because
What?
I was at the beginning. I remember when he first got. I remember back then. I remember that. But Hugh Jackman is the reason why I'm a Wolverine fan. I was never really a Wolverine fan. I didn't even really like see the character or anything other than what I saw him in the cartoons and all that other stuff. Like he just never was. Yeah, but Hugh Jackman's version of Wolverine was like, oh, this is cool. And I was also a kid. It was like 99 or whatever. So I didn't really understand that. Oh, well, people were angry because Hugh Jackman, who is this guy? He doesn't even look like Wolverine. It's this Broadway guy. He's a show tune singer from Australia. Like, who's this guy playing Wolverine? And he's 6'3". And then, like, you know what I mean? It was like that was the complaint back then. But since I grew up basically with him as Wolverine, it's like, yeah, I can't see no one else as Wolverine. I really can't. It's like Hugh Jackman has done something with that character.
Really weird to see him. Even though, I mean, honestly, like, I really like the idea of Henry Cavill as a Wolverine.
That was okay. Yes, I forgot about that. You just said it. That was amazing. I've
also heard Daniel Radcliffe as a more stout, not entirely short, but
now I'm gonna be real with you.
6 foot, and I'm not mad at that either.
When people were saying
really
Daniel, when
I
people
need
said
Wolverine to be a short king.
When they said
I need it.
When people started talking about Daniel Radcliffe being Wolverine, and I was like, no, Harry Potter, no, there's that. Then he did a movie where he got jacked. I mean, this dude got full on barrel for this role he played. I can't even remember what the name of the movie is, but he got
who
barrel.
are you talking about again?
Daniel Radcliffe.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Okay.
He was in a movie, and I can't remember what it was. I haven't actually seen it, but I saw pictures of it. I saw like things, but like he got absolutely barrel ripped with it. Like he looked like Wolverine in this movie. Like his hair, the way he had the beard, it was just like, and he was just, I mean, he was veiny ripped. You know what I mean? And I'm like, okay, maybe he could play Wolverine. Well, I don't know. It fits. Because then there was that other guy, the Kingsman guy. What's his name?
Eggsy.
Eggsy, whatever his name was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eggsy.
Him being Wolverine. I'm like, I can see that, but yeah.
I saw that as well.
But anyway, the fact of the matter is, this was like, yeah, Hugh Jackman, he like, I'm glad
Could
he
you
came back.
imagine this be to lead into fucking Henry Cavill being actually Wolverine? Like,
I'm not gonna hold
He's
you.
too tall.
No.
He's too tall.
I'm not gonna hold you. The way he looked in this movie, I believe it. I would see. I could see that. I buy it. It was legit because I forgot. I was like, when he turned around, I was like, dang, did they? Because when he walked up on him, because he was jacked. I thought, I was like, dang, is this like a CGI version of Hugh Jackman just to be a lot more jacked or something like that? No, it was Cavill, and like, dang, Cavill, you weren't even that jacked for Superman. Like,
like, could you imagine he come to our side and he'd be
what?
Bro?
Oh man, I can see him be. And then he did his lock, his fit, and that was cool. I don't know if anybody popped it.
I caught it, bro.
He did
to
this, like,
plop the claws,
yeah.
He did the yes,
Dude,
yes,
he
yes.
did the Mission Impossible, like
He
lock
cocked
and load.
the fist
He
to
was like,
pop the claws,
dude,
and I loved it. I fucking love it.
Yeah, he did.
The little
like,
things, man. It's the little things.
I mean, like, look, here's what I think. When it comes to Ryan Reynolds, I don't believe there's nothing he can't do. He got Brad Pitt to do a split-second cameo in the movie getting electrocuted. And it's like, he got... let's just talk about Chris Evans. Let's talk about Chris Evans.
Snipes to come back for this. Bro.
Yeah. And like, which is crazy because... Am I not mistaken, or wasn't there like bad blood between Wesley Snipes and like Disney or something like that?
He didn't like him. Well,
yeah,
no. So technically, it was supposed to be like a thing where Ryan Reynolds said Wesley Snipes didn't like him, but he really said Wesley Snipes is a method actor, and the entire time that he was working with Wesley Snipes, he was really in character as Blade, so he didn't really get to know Wesley Snipes.
Gotcha.
He really only knew Blade. So I think all that was squashed if there was any issues. And
no, but I mean specifically Wesley Snipes and like Marvel and Disney, not like Ryan Reynolds.
No, why would they?
I could have sworn I read something where like when
I heard that as well.
I could have sworn there was something about like
he may have thrown shade at the casting of Mahershala Ali. I think something about not having been asked to at least show up or be a part of it. I think it was maybe like some shade.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, but it wasn't
what it was.
Anything like it wasn't anything serious, and it was just like a very minor tweet.
Yeah, that's the picture. Looking at the chat, the on-air chat, EXO, like that's the picture I saw that made me be like, oh yeah, I can see him as Wolverine, like Daniel Radcliffe in the chat, and I'll post this picture in the link as a link in the description when too as well.
Exactly.
Like I seen that after
Harry Farrell ripped.
Bro,
yeah,
I seen that. I was like, yeah, put
bro,
the
seeing
Wolverine.
Hugh Jackman run on all fours like that, I'm not gonna lie,
crazy.
it made me bro,
it's amazing.
It made me giddy and it scared me a little bit, and I was into it. I'm just like, that would work better if the person was just a little bit smaller.
Oh yeah,
and I think Radcliffe could pull some shit off like that.
I think that's what made this Wolverine so much better. That's why I said Hugh Jackman went full tilt, and obviously like
they were able to let him like go. He didn't like fully go berserk in this, but like he was able to be mostly feral, bro, like genuinely wild and just like ripping people apart. Like and you can't get him to be as expressive as he should be in a PG-13 movie without it looking weird, especially when like bro, if he's coming at you like that, he's probably gonna take your legs off at the knee or the ankle, or he's gonna like take your head off. So like that doesn't end in that process, then it ends up being like, what are we doing?
When he did it,
unimpactful.
Yeah, when he did that, it was like whoa! I was like, and he came at him so fast. fast, bro. So
closing
fast.
the distance on all fours like that. I never see, bro. They have never done no. Oh my god,
Bro,
this is why I
that
said
whole
the fight
fight-
direction and the
Oh,
choreography. That first fight, bro. Listen, oh my god,
it was
and
amazing.
I love how they just played Sabretooth for a hoe. Because I'm just like, bro, nobody cared about you, bro. I'm sorry.
I
We
mean,
did
it
not make
was
20
pretty
movies
fun.
for
And
this.
Deadpool's like,
No.
oh, yo, you can't do
Not
this.
for
Come
your
on, man.
version of it. At least if we're
Yeah.
gonna have him fight, I want it to be Liev Schreiber's version. You know what I'm saying? Like screw
well,
this.
they
Yeah.
did. Ryan Reynolds, he did. Deadpool's like, oh, that's your brother. Like he said that to him.
Yeah, exactly. So
Oh,
like they
okay, let's talk
acknowledge
about-
that
let's talk about
timeline,
two.
and they acknowledge. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Pyro. I don't know who else
Just
picked this up.
sapping Johnny's flame. That was
cool.
That's
And
not
we're
how
gonna get
that
to we're
should
gonna get to
work.
Giant. But no, here's the thing. What I was gonna talk about with Pyro is, and I might be the only one that does it, and I don't know how many people really do this, but this like that's the same actor from the other movies, of course.
Yeah.
But he was doing the Pyro voice, which was amazing because Pyro, whenever in the animated series and even in the 80s,
Australian.
whatever, he was like doing that. He was like that, yeah, whatever, like that just like
Australian.
Yeah.
no, not that shit, but like the squeaky, like that, like just weird, creepy, like whatever, like just squealy voice. And then they made mention, he's like, "Why do you keep doing that voice?" And it's like, no, that's Pyro. Like every version of Pyro that I've ever seen a voice for on like a cartoon, he has this really like just like creeper voice that he does, and it's like it was amazing. That was a little detail again. I'm like, I don't know how many people appreciated that. I appreciated it. You know what I mean? But that was
Yeah,
cool. But
for
let's
sure.
just talk about Johnny Storm. So I was not expecting that. I 100% was shocked.
Superhero landing. They did the thing, bro. They gave you the misdirection with the arm, but it had red and white on it. So
It
they
did.
played it
Yeah,
So
I
it's like,
thought
we gotta-
that's what it
we were-
was.
we were
so we
getting
thought it
a-
was Cap.
We
They baited us,
did.
bro.
Not only that, because they set it up even before that. You know, they were heavily showing Cap on the screens in
Because he
TVA.
loves Cap.
They were. He was talking about it. He was going about, and then he was like, "Oh, he's about to say it." Avengers,
misdirections, bro.
flame on. I was like, "What?"
And I'm like, no, I fucking lost my bro. The whole theater was.
Oh, we went
geeked.
wild. We went
Bro,
wild,
we
bro.
lost our mind.
We
okay?
went wild, and it was just like, okay, this happened.
cheers.
This went
across the crowd. I'm
happened.
like, this is
This is
Yes.
amazing, and it was like, okay,
This is
okay, because
the
the first
start of the shit.
I was like, because even still, where he was standing and where he landed at, if you look as they were panning the camera, there was like it looked like what to be like maybe like Thor's hammer or like a piece of Iron Man, but then you could see a Captain America shield under the sand next to the tower he was standing on. So I started seeing that and then hearing Chris Evans' voice, and then he lands. I'm thinking, oh, he's gonna kick the ground. Shield's gonna pop up and he's gonna have his shield. It's gonna be epic. He's gonna pull the thing off. No, flame on. And I was like, this was way better.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This was better. And the
Potty
way
mouth Chris Evans
is
is
amazing.
amazing.
Amazing. Yeah, it was like
language. Fuck language.
You know for a fact he enjoyed that. He 100%
Yeah,
enjoyed
for
that.
sure.
Great.
And the way he was like, "Oh,
That
come on,
was great.
say that," and he was like, and the way she flicked his skin. And let's talk about Nova.
Bro.
Let's talk about her. Yo,
I'm not gonna lie. I have never seen such a skin crawling method for mind reading manipulation, bro. For you to just stick your fingers,
fingers?
like, I couldn't even imagine
the way
that.
she walked off with Paradox's head after the fight on the
Oh,
street,
and
just
she
ripped in
just-
his, and he's just dragged.
Oh, that
by
was crazy.
Oh.
And in the way they made her fingers look, like they actually made it look elongated and
was
stuff like that.
exactly like the comics, bro. I
It
never
was-
even really thought about like how they would portray that in the bro. Normally, it's just a telepath putting their hands to their mind.
No,
very
she
uninteractive, very
invaded.
unimaginative. No,
He was
this
like,
was an invasion. Getting her hands dirty.
It was her fingers were
I'm
like coming out of his nose. It was
Jesus,
like,
I that cannot feel okay.
yeah. And I'm gonna say what I don't know who this actress is. I really don't. I don't know if I've seen her or anything. All I know is
She was great.
she was great. She I don't know anything really about that character. I'm gonna be real. I didn't even know Xavier had a sister or that. I knew nothing
It's,
about her. But she in the way she was using her powers and so nonchalantly, like when in the Wolverine fight, when she was just like her everything she was doing when she was just flicking her wrist, she was like the faces she was making. It was just like, what is it? She's just like boom, boom. I was like, yeah, no, she's no. No wonder why she's in charge because yeah. It was a good.
And the things she was saying was just nuts.
Oh
like,
my God.
She had this one line, something like, "I'm gonna atomize your brains while I flick my bean," or something like that.
Yes.
It's
What
just, like,
is that?
I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
man.
god, you're
What
sick,
is
lady.
that? That is
I can
absolutely.
fix her.
I can fix it. Okay, bro, the Deadpool army fight. That was awesome. Because like here's the thing. They were they were doing the fight and the whole time
notes when we're doing movies like this. And for this one, obviously, since I see very well and I didn't want to do it on my phone because that's rude. So I have very few notes from the movie, but I have a very specific series of notes that I just quickly want to recount since we're talking about the Deadpool's fight. Right? And it goes, so first off, when Wolverine put his hat on, we talked about this, absolutely insane, coolest shit I ever saw, that's all I wrote. And then I go, that fight was amazing, but do none of the Deadpools have healing factors?
Right, that's
and then
what I was gonna
3 seconds
say.
later, oh,
Yeah.
for fuck's Lamau.
That's
like,
what I was
exactly
gonna say.
as I was writing that.
The actual McFarlane poses, it was reminiscent of that. Seeing them bust out of that bus, screaming, the masks together. Oh my god, bro, I can't get over it. I need to get in there and I gotta bootleg a picture of it, bro. It's gonna be my picture on my phone for a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like that whole Deadpool fight, that whole Deadpool core fight, and they're like just when they got to the bus and they're running away, one of them like shot themselves just because they didn't want to fight, and it was crazy. But yeah, just all that leading up to the bus thing, it was amazing. And then Peter coming around, hey, he's with me, and they're like, you had Peter, and they're like fanboying over Peter. It was crazy.
I love that everybody has a Peter and he is loved.
Very weird. Yeah, that was incredible, but I was like, really? Okay. That's, I guess. I liked it. It caught me completely off guard, but I did really like it.
Yeah, it was cool. It was it was good. He was actually arguably like one of the funnier parts of Deadpool 2, if I'm being honest, because it's just because of the way they set him up. It's like, yeah, like this guy's like,
I can feel that.
Yeah, but
and they set it up earlier in the movie as well with him having the suit in the locker. It just
okay. Speaking of which, okay, so let's talk about this.
Very, very good.
Earth 616. So does this mean that MCU is officially now 616? like, is that what I'm saying? I'm like, are we not? No longer 9999? But like,
that is not correct. I think that was a misstep because ain't no way, bro. That makes no sense.
Because they were very. I mean, I would.
It's that Samuel L. Jackson meme, right? I recognize that the council has made a decision. But given that it's a stupid ass decision,
I've elected to ignore it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, let's see how this plays out because I feel like there's no way that it was going to be the same mistake as like a 8 years later mistake in Spider-Man: Homecoming. You know what I mean? Like, right? I don't believe that's what it is. I don't know. We'll see. But again, we are in the multiverse saga, so you never know. But yeah, like that was cool, and also
I think like this movie actually played with the multiverse concept a lot better than any of the other.
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Like Multiverse of Madness was an absolute snore. Like they didn't do enough with it. They didn't go crazy enough, and this movie actually looked like they wanted to give it a try in earnest, you know? Not just, oh, here we have like 1 or 2 people from an alternate universe and they're basically the same as we know the world to be. No, we've got like Deadpool, but he's an ugly dog.
Like,
we've got Deadpool, but he's a baby.
Dog.
Here's what I was wanting though. Here's one thing that I feel like they could have done, they should have done, and I would have been like, awesome for them to do was I feel like they should have had Emma Stone come back and be Gwenpool. I'm just saying. That would have been dope. But that's just me.
Oh, yeah. That would have actually been really cool.
Right? That would have been so dope if she just even if she wasn't like a major part, just like a hint, a flash or like whatever. And she didn't even have to be a part of the main Deadpool core fight. Just that would have been dope to see.
Wait, who? What?
Yeah.
Emma Stone.
I think the thing is though, because Gwenpool doesn't.
But she's Gwenpool.
Emma Stone.
I think the fact that Gwenpool doesn't have
in the Spider-Man movies.
A healing factor.
I see what you mean. Oh well, Blake Lively was.
Oh, she was Lady Deadpool for sure. Yeah, like
Yeah,
that was
exactly, yeah.
that was confirmed.
She was Lady Pool,
yeah, she was Lady Pool for sure. And but I figured that out once I heard her speak. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's Blake Lively. But and that's cool because he said something about that at the beginning when he was like, there's over 200 and something bones in the body, like 200 and whatever if you watch Gossip Girl, which is funny because it's like, you think about it, like Blake Lively was like the main character of Gossip Girl and, that's his wife, but that was funny. This movie was flawless in my opinion. I have to say it. It's flawless.
Oh, for sure.
10 out of 10, 100 out of 100. Like, I don't see... even with Spider-Man No Way Home, I had one or two gripes. You know what I mean? As much as I love that movie, as much as I was like, this is a go-to movie.
I love them equally.
It was like Deadpool Wolverine, I saw no flaws. Now, granted, it was my first watch. I was overstimulated watching it. When I watch it again, maybe I might. But as of right now, my initial thing is 10 out of 10. Great movie, great story, great everything. X-23 coming back was pretty dope. Like, the Gambit fight, when they were fighting in that courtyard, that was dope. Like, it was just, yeah, it was good. The way she sliced off Juggernaut's head, though, was crazy. She was feral, too.
Something that was weird to me, like, I didn't hate it, but something that I found strange was when Alioth ate like Blade and Elektra and X-23 and the
we didn't see that happen.
They didn't happen. He wasn't aiming for them. He was aiming for
it wasn't on
screen. It's entirely implied that they may have gone back or have been brought back by the TVA.
No, they didn't.
Yeah,
because,
that's how I read it as well.
Because I mean, X-23 was at the table with them at the end of the movie.
Exactly.
Yeah,
so,
but
implied that all of them probably made it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even in the movie, like when you see it, like the holy crap, I'm drawing a blank on his. Oh, the heck is the cloud's name again?
Alioth,
yeah. Alioth didn't. He was literally beelining for that because when they show it, Anyway, that was cool. Paul Rudd finally aged. That was hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Oh man, I love how they had the whole. He was like, "Oh, it looks like Mad Max," and then they literally had like, the Fantastic Car. I was sitting next to this guy.
That was sick.
And I was like, "Wait, is that the Fantastic Car?" He's like, "I don't know." And then they show the full on. Oh yeah, no, that's the Fantastic Car. Yeah, man, Johnny Storm and all of that. It was just, oh man. And then let's get Pretty Boy Deadpool, who didn't even have healing factor. That was the kind Deadpool, which is awesome. That was
good
funny.
Pool.
Good pool. He's like, how long does it take you to heal? What heal? What do you mean? He's like, you really are the galaxy. What did he say?
God's perfect
idiot, aren't you? Like the way Wolverine was just like.
It's so scathing with his insults. It was
like for real. He was going at it, and then this is so cool. I love this. I love this movie. I love everything about it. This seeing X-23 back and just I feel like they shouldn't have put her in the trailer. They put her in one of the trailers, and I thought that was dumb.
I think that would have been better
like
if they hadn't.
They shouldn't have.
That.
They should have, because then it's like, here's what I don't like. When you okay. This has nothing to do with the movie. This is just the promotion of the movie. When you're making a movie, you know how in movies they have like the way she walked out when they looked up, she was in shadow, and then she just walked out, and then there she is. It's like, why would you film it like that? Why would you do that and then put her in the trailer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Why would you make it look as if like, because I hate it when they do that, when they like in movies do that, where they film a scene as if like you're not supposed to know they're there.
That one.
You know what I mean? And it's like then they blow the load in the trailer. Like I feel like the last time they really made me mad at that was when Civil War came out. They did that with Spider-Man. Like honestly, I feel like that was one of those things where it's like, because in Civil War, the way they introduced Spider-Man, like he was like, "Well, where's your guy?" "Oh, my guy." Then they showed Queens. Like when they showed Queens, I was excited, but it was like, had I not known Spider-Man was in the movie, and then they showed Queens, and I'm like, what? And then Peter Parker walks in, you're like, that would have been even more. But it's like the way they filmed it in the movie, they filmed it as if it was supposed to be like a lead up to, but then it's like, oh well, I already know it is, so Why'd you film? Why'd you make it? I don't know. That's just our own little gripe with filmmaking I have and other things, but nonetheless, the cameos, everything was good, and it was just like watching. And then the way in the end credits when they were doing the like all the Marvel Fox stuff, they were doing like the behind the scenes things. I was like, yeah, this is good. This is a nice little. They even had the 20th Century Fox logo at that's the last one. It's like, okay, cool. They like put to rest that version of it. Now it's like, okay, cool. We can move on. Everybody got their thing. They paid homage. It's good. It was legit. It was
a good send off for the universe.
It was. It was a very good send off. Because literally, that's literally all the cameos, and other than the video footage stuff of Thor, which was like crazy. He was like, "Oh, was that Thor? Why did I die? Why is he holding me? Is he crying? Thor's crying for me." It's like, oh, he was like, "Oh, the suit. Let's talk about that." He was like, "Oh, I got a new suit." And he was like, "Let's do this." And he was like, "Oh, he's like, yeah, I love this suit."
What you call it is definitely a predator.
You tell there's definitely a predator. And then that guy, he was like, that guy, he's he's the fat guy or whatever. That was great. But before we get to the end, we got to talk about the final scene of the movie, which was absolutely just finally that Wolverine finally getting his sacrifice moment, but then Deadpool finally get his sacrifice moment, being like that, and then like genuinely seeing Wolverine be like, no. Hey, he was like, I'm gonna be the hero, or I'm gonna be Spock, and then he does the thing. But then like when they show him banging down the door, I'm like, cool. Then he grabs his hand, and it's just like that. And then like earlier in the movie, this was cool because they made a payoff to a joke he made earlier in the movie. It's like, yeah, it's a good suit. Normally he just got his shirt off the whole time, and it's whatever. And then when it blows
and then he
up,
gets his shirt off at the end.
and then Deadpool's looking at him like, okay, like, and I mean, Jackman got jacked, like for real.
Jacked.
He got jacked.
Huge jacked man.
Yeah, like
Huge Jackman.
Because that was like very cool, and he was just that whole scene. They were just like and then the flashbacks, and then everybody, and then like showing him in his yeah, that was cool. That's what I mean. This Deadpool movie was a funny. It was a just fun time movies, but it had so much heart. That ending scene when they were holding on, I was all the feels in that moment because it was like, this is for real. And I'm like, okay, they're going out together. That's awesome. And then the guy, he's explaining, oh no, it was this. They sacrificed, they were heroes. And he was like, hey, Peanut. He's like, fuck. Like, he's like, turns out if you put a Wolverine and a Deadpool together, you can get through something like that. But that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the mask. Oh, I love how they kept the mask on for the rest of the movie and didn't take it off. Yep. They just left it on until the very end when it was no longer needed. That was good because movies
said it's better than Batman's because you can turn your neck.
Yeah,
scares the villains. Yeah,
really. But that was so cool. Or what he called them, the BJ handles, I think he called them. He was like,
dynamic blowjob.
Yeah, whatever he said, when he first put it on. But what kind of wind resistant did those BJ handles get or something like that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
But then then of course he does the pose and he's like, let's go, maximum effort. And it was like, let's effing go.
Let's fucking go.
Bro, I swear I might go see it again on Tuesday for the matinee for like the $5 movie night. I might do it. I for sure might do it because on Marcus Theater every Tuesday they do like $5 movies for like all the movies, and I might go do it again. It won't be in the ultra, but like I mean, this was a good movie. If this is an indication of where Marvel's going, and then seeing the trailer I saw for New World Order and all that, like I feel like Marvel is becoming the thing. We were talking about superhero fatigue in the last episode. I feel like this is about to break that fatigue for us.
That's because superhero fatigue is not a thing, bro. People were just sick of mediocre movies.
That's exactly what we said in another episode of the podcast.
That's exactly what we said in that was the whole topic of our conversation because we talked about that. But like this is it. I think we're getting good. And then now too, just since we're coming to the end, we'll just real quick jump the fence. Coming up with all the DC stuff that's getting ready to happen. That's so far looking pretty good. So I'm pretty excited about it. Like we got some good stuff. But this movie, Deadpool. All right, so final ratings for me, 10 out of 10. Perfect movie. I when it coming from a filmmaker standpoint of like, story, action, comedy, like I was start to finish, there was never a lull. I was locked in. I didn't even realize I was in there for almost 2 hours. It was just a good time. I was transported. So for me, perfect movie.
So
Pancake?
for me, I give it a 9 out of 10. It feels like this movie was made for me on every conceivable level, but I hesitate to give it like the full score because I'm afraid I'm being not too generous, but I'm afraid I'm being unfair because I loved it so much, and I feel I'm in that honeymoon phase, so I don't want to give it that perfect score until it's had time to settle in,
I feel that.
But it could. I know it's gonna go up at least a few more
Right.
scores.
Well, see, it's funny because you say it like that. Like I thought about that too in my rating, but here's the thing: it was a first watch, and I feel like the more I watch it, because there's no way I caught everything that needed to be caught in there. Even watching the new Rockstar's breakdown of it, I was like, I didn't even see that, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, but I understand it. That's a valid point. I see your point. What about you, X?
All right. I'm probably gonna sit somewhere at a 9.5. I think it's damn near flawless, only because I haven't had the ability to sit here and pick at it.
Okay.
I need to see it more before I determine if it's genuinely flawless or not. It feels a bit liberal to give it that score. So I'm probably gonna sit at a 9, and that's just off of pure feeling and the first watch.
Okay, I feel that. Cool. Well, I don't know, man. I think that's good. I think we said what we said and we did what we did. And honestly, I'm excited. I think this was a good episode. We are going to go ahead and go back to Star Wars the next episode because we were gonna do that, but all this Marvel stuff happened, so we pivoted a little bit. So if you guys like what you're seeing and what you're hearing, check us out. Links in the description for all our things. You'll have all my content in there and the links and all my profiles, and check out all my videos. Again, keep an eye on my channel for like new content coming out with gaming, things like that. I'm going to try to start getting into more movie reviews and more like trailer reviews and things on up. You guys want to promote anything? You got anything you trying to promote? Where can people find you?
I think it's really important to promote more good movies.
I'll second what he said.
All right, cool. Well, I'll put links and stuff and certain things we talked about. I'll put that picture of Daniel Radcliffe in the link, and so you guys can see what we're talking about. But yeah, good show, good episode. XO, thank you for joining us. We had a blast.
Thank you for having me, folks.
I don't know. I'm thinking we got to get him in here on more because it was good conversation, good stuff. But
absolutely, I loved it.
I had a good one. And any final thoughts for the people, Pancake? I
think the real Deadpool and friend was the third wheel for this episode.
I feel that. I feel that. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Check us out. Catch you later. Peace.
Adios.
Yep.